Six Flags Mulch in Longwood. Go to sixflagsmulch.com. They've got all your rocks, all your mulch in bag or bulk.
Well, you know, if you even got an area and you need to calculate how much mulch you need, enter in the length, the width, and the depth of the area. Use the calculator to calculate that. Boom. Super duper easy, and you can get everything at Six Flags.
They're official aquascape retailer. If you want really cool water features or ponds.
Oh, you can make your backyard look absolutely amazing. And they also carry all of the basic gardening equipment you might need to make your backyard into an oasis. Get some of that Corona brand equipment.
Yep, go touch tips with the owner. He's a BDM. He'll give you a free sticker. It's sixflagsmulch.com in Longwood. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We need to jump in and do some emails. You can send us an email, show at tomanddan.com, or go to tomanddan.com. There's easy ways to link up with all of us. And if you're not a BDM member, you can sign up, be a BDM member, get extra shows. We used to do private parties. Tom and I are working on something right now, a little something we want to do special for the BDMs.
Pizza party.
Maybe, but it, you know, with everything kind of changing, we're going to have to pivot too, and we'll figure something fun out. I know we will. We always do. But yeah, sign up, tomanddan.com.
Oh, this is Butler Appreciation. Hello,
Butler,
Showcast
should we get him in here?
Sure.
Right.
Butler, get in here. I do want to call him.
Hit a pause.
I do want to call him Butthead.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do that.
Hello, Showcast members. I just wanted to give a shout out to Travis Butler. I've known him since a bit before he got hired to work for T&D Media, and he's one of the coolest BDMs I know.
There's a friend email.
Love your mom.
Your mom's writing emails to the show, Butler.
I'm thankful to have been a BDM for as long as I have and have to have met so many cool people that have become friends and even more like family. But Travis is one of my favorites because he's just that nice of a dude. So thanks to Butler for being a great guy, a great BDM, for all he does on the show, and thanks to you guys for seeing it and hiring him. Sucking fat teas. P.S. What happened to Snoots? I still have my koozie with the Lambo from the first Snoots giving. Bring back Snoots.
Okay, we'll bring back Snoots then. Hashtag Snoots is back in play. Back in play, Snoots.
Full confession, I wrote that email.
At the beginning of the show, we'll do, because I want a catchphrase for the beginning of the Friday Free Show and the end. So the catchphrase at the beginning, I'll go, Snoots. And then we'll go up, down, Snoots. And then at the end, we'll go, stay safe out there, everybody. Because that's what you said to the guys from Liquid Glass Guard. You embarrassed me and Sam.
The problem is Snoots is too hard to explain.
No, but it's easy. It's Snoots. It's easy to say.
But then
sucking fat teas is too hard to say. It's polarizing.
Yeah, you're right. It's vulgar.
Do you ever use that word with your wife?
We don't really talk about it too much. So I don't know. It doesn't come up. But I use it. She don't mind.
Yeah,
I know
she hates
Andrea
it.
doesn't like it.
And sometimes I say it, and I think it. I don't know what else to say though without sounding like a child.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. There's not.
I'm not saying boobies. No, I'm not doing that.
I use that a lot with the kids around or whatever they say.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys this. Maybe I should save it for the Friday Free Show. I'll save it.
Yeah, because we don't have any notes for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll say I got something that happened. With Maisie. It's bad.
Tommy's been asking to see.
I'm sorry.
Crystal's
what?
Yeah, teas.
I
wouldn't have said that.
No, I wouldn't have said that on the air.
Well, just out of curiosity.
What do you mean curiosity?
They're
all over the internet.
He wants get
him a Pornhub account.
No, not for that.
Oh.
He's curious. He's like, I want to see the.
I want to see. Show me your world.
He wants to see the nips, and then.
Oh
Chris
my God!
I was like, no, that's my. I don't want to show you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I want to see. See Daddy's, I see Max's.
I want to see yours.
No.
Hey, if you show them, I can help you with your comedy career. Work your way through the ranks.
Where's my plan?
Tuna Daddy's got a point in the chat. It's natural ask after staring at Soapy Butt. She started. She started something she can't stop.
Dare I say, pun intended? She cracked this wide open.
He's curious, and then when
show him a National Geographic or something.
No, those are two way bigger than he needs to see. Those should come with a warning, because when I saw my first National Geographic, I remember I was like, "What the What is happening?
You want to compliment Soapy butt with a soapy beanbag.
Don't soap
How
that thing.
rude.
Soapy beanbag.
Did you just call his wife's teeth beanbags?
No,
he's talking about me.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I should put a picture next to it of the beanbag.
I told you to
Do
do
not
that.
do that.
It balances it all out. It's kind of all right as in the...
I don't think that balances
It's like,
it out.
yeah, it's like salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, it's like
exactly.
bookends.
There
Yin
was
and yang.
there was a guy
A
in
lot
our
of people
bathroom.
don't know what we're talking about. Tom, can I just say it?
Yeah.
Just quickly. Tom's wife took some boudoir photos, and there is one printed on a piece of, I guess, a sheet of steel that's been etched into it. There's a painting of her, or it's a picture of her soaped up butt.
Yeah, and like black and
Right.
white and like a
And,
very
hanging
artsy.
over the bathroom with a chandelier over the
Fancy
top. of it.
aircraft aluminum.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And then everybody.
How big is it?
It's
what are the
huge.
dimensions?
Like,
no,
it's
it is
like
not
9
that big.
It's
Yeah.
like 9 feet by
Like the size
That's
of a
a
movie
big
poster?
soapy butt.
Like a,
It's bigger. The butt is bigger than her actual butt. Like it blown up. You know what I'm saying?
that.
Like it's more than life size. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like it cuts off at her waist and then her thighs. So it's just the
Just
butt.
butt.
So
this
the
mental
butt-
picture is getting so much clearer.
Daniel was over the house the other day. You
Didn't
could've-
take a peek.
Oh, you
I did
could.
figure something out, though.
What?
I don't know if you want me to talk about this.
What?
These guys have mental problems. Every
I would've
bathroom,
done
every bathroom of their house has a different person's naked butt picture in
What?
it.
Yeah.
I'm going to the bathroom because I deliberately didn't want to make it weird. So I have already in my mind pretended like Soapy Butt. The painting does not even
Okay.
exist. I needed to use the restroom. Didn't even cross my mind. I'm not going down that road. I'm not making things weird for her, for I almost called you Tim. For Tim, for anybody. I'm not.
You coulda wandered in there.
I'm not going to do it. You're too good of a friend. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
So I went to the guest bathroom during the pool party. I'm going number one. I look up what's hanging over the toilet. A picture of Max completely naked, his bare butt.
My God, what's the obsession with butts
I
over
don't know.
there?
It's a
Booty fan.
His was at Tiffany's wedding in Mexico. And
What?
And he's like,
Why was he naked at someone's wedding?
He was naked in the wedding. I don't know why Tiffany asked for that, but I'll give you one guess where the ring was.
on the
Thanks.
If you could have the ring bearer, please run down here and unsheath, please.
Max was on our balcony in Mexico, and he was peeking.
full nude.
Yeah.
But he was
What kind
peeking.
of family are
A
you?
bunch of their mental
It
problems.
was no one's around. He was peeking over some plants, looking out in the ocean, and then the picture was of him. He's tan, and then his white little butt.
It's
He's
cute.
like
It's
like
cute.
2 years old.
It's like Coppertone baby style.
yeah. It's like
How
it's-
long gonna leave that hanging up?
Well, that
If
is.
you turn it around,
I mean,
too,
it's
it's his
permanent.
full front.
It's the decoration that's in the guest bathroom.
So forever. When he
Every-
has friends over when he's a teen, you're gonna have
Well,
his
it's like a
2-year-old
con-
butt up there.
Every
Yeah,
one of their
baby butts are
bathrooms-
fine.
Every one of their bathrooms has a butt in it.
Yeah, and then
I didn't
Where's
even-
Tommy's butt at?
I didn't even
Where's your
get-
butt?
it's too flat. A frog butt.
Oh,
it's in
Tommy
the-
got a frog butt.
It's in,
Oh,
the,
yeah.
it's in the freezer when you open the freezer.
In fact, here's a.
He is a string bean.
So in our
Tom calls him pipe cleaner man. Never not makes me laugh.
in our new bathroom, we have that giant sheet of glass that I told you.
Yeah,
about.
yeah. How's it
God.
working out?
So fine, I'm waiting for it to crash down and chop me in half like ghosts. But because I've almost now
'Cause
that I
now
think-
it's in your head. Yeah.
It's in my head. So every time I get up to the toilet, I almost
Stop!
I fall forward a little bit. I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's gonna chop.
I'm gonna rhino into it, and then it's gonna chop me in half.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
this is
Yeah.
this is that movie of Final Destination.
Yeah,
where,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
you keep running it through your head. It's like when you're
He
doing an
starts getting
interview,
wobbly legs.
and the guy's name is Jerry, and you're like, hey, "Don't say jerky, don't say jerky, don't say jerky, don't say." On the line with us right now, we have Jerky.
Yeah. So anyway, they're both the boys are in the shower. It's fogging up, so the glass is fogged. So they started putting butt prints against
Oh,
the glass.
that's dangerous.
Yeah, this is
Right.
this whole family's butt obsessed.
So,
My
but
God.
because Tommy has a flat frog butt.
Oh, it's just two lines.
No,
just
his-
his spine.
His butt print has the crack, but Max has a Kim Kardashian balloon ass.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like,
God.
he does. He's blessed with a genetic balloon butt.
Yeah, he's got a balloon butt.
And so when
Okay.
Max did his butt print, you can't it's just two dots.
well, no,
Yes, and then they were arguing. They're like, "Why isn't mine have the crack? You got the dots." And they just drew a dot with their finger. Max couldn't press his butt hard enough to get to the crack.
He has no thigh gap.
Yeah. He's got a.
That's what you want. You want that.
Thick.
You want that thick.
Like, remember the big girl you were with that time? You couldn't actually.
Oh, there was no way to get there.
Yeah.
Like the road had been shut down.
Yeah.
There's no more road.
because the butt was pushed you too far back.
Yeah.
For it to make its way. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying if that's true. That happens.
I know.
It's harder to maneuver a chunk of your butt.
Did you break it to Tommy that he's got a frog butt?
I
he
told
knows. He knows.
I bully him because then
That's good.
because if I do it, then he'll be used to it. So if anybody, it won't like crush his dreams.
Picking up with his knees, you know.
Yeah.
Squatting down to pick that
it's
up. buddy.
genetic.
Yeah.
Like Max
There's
was
no
born,
changing
yeah,
it.
Yeah. It's like calves. You can work them out all day long, and they'll never get to palmiati calves.
I can look at Tommy right now and make the prediction. I don't
Not
think
true,
he'll
but-
ever chub up and fill out a rash guard.
He's
I don't.
a lean boy.
It doesn't look
Yeah.
like he'll ever do that.
Yeah. Max has like genetically. You should have seen.
He's like Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
Big lollip head and
Yeah.
sticks.
Oh, he's so sweet.
But Max is like a sandbag. He's built like a sandbag.
He's
and
Oogie Boogie.
And he's got a big, like I put him in
It's a
tiny
badonk.
shorts because I like
This is weird.
showing
You're-
off
this
his
is weird.
badonk. It is
Your
weird.
whole family is weird about butts.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put your son in tiny dukes
They're
because you can
the-
stare at his butt? That's weird.
They're the butt people.
Well, I'm just like, if you have it, show it off.
Oh my God.
When you got it, flaunt it.
Yeah. Don't hide it. You need to show off. You're genetically gifted with this perfectly voluptuous butt. You have tight shorts, and you're doing the world a disservice if you're hiding it. That's
You're
ridiculous. Huh?
making eye candy for pedophiles by putting your son's plump butt in
for me,
tiny
it's not for
shorts.
pedophiles.
yeah,
Well, that's weird because you're a grown man. It shouldn't be for you.
We know how you live your life. You cover those beauties up with sweatshirts all the time. I mean,
Right.
hey, do whatever you got to do, but you are doing the world a disservice.
Yeah. I mean, you only have a certain window of time
Yeah.
because
You gotta let
everybody-
that freak flag fly. What?
Yeah. Because when you're like in
Or
your
flake.
60s, they're gonna. What?
Yeah, but if you don't have any,
I'm telling you, right?
if you
That's what
don't
happens.
have anything up there, then things just start to kind of like melt.
Yeah.
Almost like when
fried
you're
egg.
burning a piece of plastic and it has that blob of like bad,
Smart
bad.
water bottles.
Let's try another voicemail message. Let's try. We
I'm
get
not sure I should be saying any of this.
I don't think so. I think we should cut this whole segment out.
Nah, it's fine.
No one's listening.
You'll like this one.
Hello, Tom, Dan, Travis, and Sam in Zach from Ohio. Would you have a problem with your partner doing a sex scene in a movie with another actor?
I guess it would depend on.
How much are you getting paid?
Well, what kind of movie?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would depend on the movie and like what. Because it's simulated sex, so to me,
Correct.
it's not a
Yeah.
thing. If you're an actor, you're you know.
But you'd have to be making out and like intimate.
That wouldn't. I don't think that would. The making out thing. I don't think that would really bother me. But there are some people that like. There's some movies where they like to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
And try to make things look a lot more real. I guess I'd have to know what's going on there.
But the thing is,
And the money does matter. Yes.
but it's also I don't even understand jealousy to begin with. But even if you are a jealous person, you got to go by intent. Like if they're acting in a movie, this is part of the movie. It's not. Why would you get jealous that your wife is making out with this actor if it's in the script? It's part of that. If they have no feeling, like there's one thing if she's like, I love this person. You know what I'm saying? What's
Yeah.
the intent?
Yeah.
If they're just making out, why are you getting mad at that?
What about you, Butler?
No, I don't think I would have a problem with it. I mean,
I'd have to put my mindset in that I married someone that was an actor because if my husband just out of nowhere had a sex scene in a movie, no, I'm not down with that.
yeah.
But what if he
That's an
started?
honest answer,
What if
yeah.
he just like started in plays and then all of a sudden got a
It's so out of the realm of possibility
I know.
because my husband would never do that.
But
Tracy.
that's you would have to like I would have to be okay as a person marrying someone that's in that field knowing that that's a thing, and I don't know, maybe if it started that way, but I don't know.
Well, you'd be more used to it by then.
Right.
Tracy in her Twitch chat room brought up something interesting. She said Lady Gaga and Bradley, that is why they always fall in love. Are they still together? Are they
I
together?
don't think they ever were
They're not-
technically
they're not
together.
together.
Yeah, I
She's
don't-
got some other dude she's been with for a
Yeah,
while now.
I don't think that they're together, but
people in movies have fallen in love.
Yeah,
with
that
each
is
other.
true.
Brad and Angela originally got
Yeah, yeah.
together
Yeah.
with Mr. and Mrs.
But
Smith.
I
and a
think
few
it's
other movies like that.
less about the sex scene, more about you're spending months together in close quarters. You get to know a person.
We just talked about old Megan Fox and MGK hanging out because they're filming a movie together, and
Well,
she's about to get a divorce.
That's
now.
pretty intimate stuff.
It's like coworkers. Like most people get into like flings or something with their coworkers.
Well, it was like
Don't
you
get
and
that
I.
rumor started.
It was like
No,
it was like you and
you're
me
around
when we were in As Dreamers Do for Logan Sekulow when we were in his movie and we played those two drunks in the barbershop. I fell in love with the man who played the father of Walt Disney.
I know that.
And,
we don't talk about that.
He was also in I believe, the Christian rock band DC Talk.
Yeah. And then I walked in and I saw it.
He saw a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
It was screaming. It was screaming happening.
There was screaming.
What?
I was
No,
screaming.
we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about the screaming.
No. We
Screaming's my love language.
don't. And it's like, it's not how you think. It's not like in pleasure screaming. It's like fear.
It's more like a murder.
It's like a fear scream.
It's like a scare scream.
yeah.
But one like equals one prayer. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm totally fine. You want to do? We got to take a break.
Yeah, okay.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and finish out more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here, wearing the original Tom and Dan hoodie. What's up, Sam?
Hanging on by a thread over here.
How is the house coming along? Because I know that, Tom, what would you say? How long would you say it takes the average person moving into a new house to get fully settled?
This is a great question because I talked to my neighbor about this yesterday, and he gave me a number, and I was like, "Whoa, that seems too long."
Well, to me,
I bet you it's the same as mine.
it's unlimited because I don't know about anybody
Yes,
else.
but
I'm constantly.
but like to be fully acclimated to the new home.
Ooh, tactical hat took my guess.
I would say the time where you actually feel like, okay, this is my house, this is my home. I'm going to go with 3 months.
Okay.
And that's a long time, but
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess would be 6.
And I'm going on a month soon.
Yeah.
Because our closing date was May 11th. It's June 1st. So,
Oh my God,
Yeah,
time
dude.
is rocketing, man.
but yeah, tactical. I guess you said you agreed with tactical. My neighbor said the same. 6 months. I'm like, my God, a half a year?
Yeah, because, for us, like...
We've been going nonstop, though, and there's still a lot to do.
Yeah.
Driving me nuts.
Yeah. 'Cause
you
I need a
start
break one day.
You start personalizing a new house that you move into to make it your own, and then obviously it never stops after that. But
Yeah.
the
We haven't
initial,
even unpacked everything yet.
yeah, you got it painted, and like some of those things, the touches of that, like putting in the fan, like replacing this kind
Haven't
of thing.
even got to that yet.
Yeah. So that's why they're saying 6 months, because
Yeah.
like you put in some fans, all of a sudden
You got to
it's like,
factor in purge time, too,
Yeah.
because a lot of the stuff you bring over, you're like, oh, we need this. But then when you get there, you're like, oh, we don't need this.
We purged before we moved, and now we're purging again.
Yes.
While we're unpacking, we're like, you know what? Screw this. I don't want this. Not enough space for this. We don't use it enough.
Yeah, it's but good luck with that. You got about 5 more months. So
Yay.
yeah.
it'll.
I need a vacation.
I know we'll talk about it when we get to it, but that hot tub, I'm not going to let you abandon that. You're going to get it one way or the
I think
other.
we're 1 foot out the door on that.
No, get your foot back in.
Well, here's your problem.
That thing's going to show up at your house one day.
Oh, no.
Here's your problem. You and Samantha are eerily. You guys have a lot of like family things that sort of align. The stars when it comes to you guys being similar in family life and in things that you like are pretty similar. Here's the problem: you're not factoring in her husband, who is now kind of coming to my side and becoming a grumpy old man.
Yes, that's
And
accurate.
he is, I think he might be further along at his age.
Yeah.
He's further along than I was at that age. Just going to clarify, he's way younger than me. But he is progressing quite nicely
My God.
when it comes to becoming quite the grump. Is he got 1 foot out of the old hot tub game?
He suggested to me, because I was already kind of like, this is going to be kind of a hassle.
Yeah.
And then he brought it up, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, so he's the one
Yeah.
poo-pooing it.
Oh,
I knew
you know
it.
what?
I knew it.
I need to give him the keys to my hot tub and let him take it for a spin
We've been in a hot tub before.
Yeah. But maybe you haven't done it recently.
In October, when we were in Asheville.
Oh,
we
too
had a hot
far.
tub.
Too far.
It's going to be weird if you hit
Hot
him up and
tubs,
you're like, hey, Travis, I know I never text you. This is Tom. I'd like you to come over and sit in my hot tub. That is going to be weird.
No.
Steam is bound.
Yeah.
I'll leave him hide a key. He can go do it at his own leisure. I'll give him the.
Leave
So my husband's just going to show up at your house?
No,
Well,
you
just
let him crawl through the raccoon door.
No, you take it for a spin. I'll give him the password to the app. You can turn.
I know what it is. 6969.
Yeah, right.
He could heat it up at his.
When's the last time you got in your hot tub?
Oh, I was in it last weekend.
I was in there this
Okay.
weekend. I'm in there all the time. And now,
Not too hot?
Yeah.
well,
Apparently, you and your old
At
lady
night.
are always in there nude. Like, oh my God.
my sons have now. We got tired of because they'll
Clothing. They're adopting like almost a natural lifestyle.
because they'll swim in their underwear all the time. But
It's very white trash.
yeah, it is.
But,
But I'm tired of.
I respect it.
It's bad for your underwear, too.
We take out then after they're done in the pool, then they take off their wet underwear, and then I just leave it drying at different places around my patio.
Oh,
now we got
that's beautiful.
15 pairs of kids' underwear drying, and I'm like, let's go nude.
Oh, my God.
What are we doing this for? I'm like, who cares? Just go nude.
I mean, you could
Could
put
do
him in-
laundry. Yeah.
You could put him in a swimsuit.
Yeah. But the problem with the swimsuit, then they have this irrational fear of the netting.
Well, that's not irrational since something
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
happened
yeah.
to Max. He had an accident there.
Yeah. Because they're
Just cut the netting out.
I should have circumcised them. All right, that's
Back to tradition.
Here's the thing: no one explained to me like all this dumb the reasons why they're like it's just for
Cosmetic.
Cosmetic. It's just there's
a
no
lot of the
reason.
things that you've
And I'm
been
like, but no one told me about the underwear, the netting and the underwear, and then.
But a lot of what you're saying
cleaning.
right now, dude,
What?
that's no one ever told me that.
What?
With the stuff you're falling into,
just learn it.
sensitive society BS. That's all BS. No one, my mom and dad never told me anything about the netting could strangle my penis or the cleaning or anything like that. And I'm fine.
No, I
you
know.
just keep it clean.
I know, but
There's not new rules. It's not like the design has changed. It's not like the old shuttle to like the new, SpaceX Dragon. It's the same penis.
All I'm saying is everybody explained to me the logic behind not doing it, and it made perfect sense to me. And I was like, yeah, why is anybody doing this? This is archaic. This is ridiculous, absurd. And then I jumped on the bandwagon, of course, and I was like, yeah, why would I cut this off? This is insane. Like, everything. And then, but no one, if they would have said, like, well, one day, you have to put some cream on the end of it if it doesn't stretch out enough, and that's there. Then I think, okay, well now there's some cream regimen to sometime.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Netting
I don't think I ever got the cream
And then-
regimen. I don't think that's a thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not going to embarrass them, but one of them needs the cream, and then the other is the netting, and then it's like, well, be careful. The netting, if the netting holes are too big in the bathing suit, then it works its way in there, and then yank it, and then they're traumatized by that. Then there's the
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard any of that. But
it gets stuck in the netting holes. It's happened both of them, and I didn't
cut
know it
the
was a
netting
thing.
out.
Yeah,
I
just
did. We
cut the
did.
netting
We
out.
started cutting them out. But
But they
anyway.
still won't wear the bathing suit after the net's cut out?
Yeah. Well, now we got ones with the smaller. It's just in the
just
back.
be
of
naked. You're right.
In the back of their mind, they're just like, "Hey, I'm going to be careful." Anyway, it's just another little incremental pain in the ass that no one explained to me back at the beginning. Everybody's just like, "Yeah, it's I'm just telling the truth."
I honestly think for you, I'm going to
Cut it
agree
off.
with you. I'm going to agree with you 100%. I think
No,
for
no.
you,
It's-
cut it off. Like a path of least resistance.
Oh, now it's too
anything
far
that has
gone.
a red-
Yeah,
no,
it's
you got to
too
do it
far.
now. I think you got to do it.
no, that's too far. It is what it is
Really
now.
traumatize them.
I
Just go naked. But when do you stop doing that?
Well, as long as there's no one at the house, then
Well, you've
they can
given
do it
my
forever.
husband a hide key, so who knows when he's showing up.
Oh,
he
yeah,
shows
he's
up.
fine.
He's sitting in the hot tub. He's like, "This is great and all, but your sons are nude in the hot tub with
It's
me, and
weird,
that makes me
yeah.
As
uncomfortable."
long as it's all dudes, I feel like nudity is fine. You know, it's like,
I agree
it's
with
like
that.
the locker room.
Well, we're all nude here. Samantha's the only one wearing clothing
yeah.
because it's all dudes, and that's the way we dude it.
Anyway,
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
You want to do some voicemails and some emails?
yeah,
Because they're piling up. I'll start, Sam. I'll give you some time to get some emails ready. Here's a hot take about Nerd Jock.
Okay, EJ's Nerd Jock thing has got to get canceled because at this point he's just literally advertising false sports information on the radio. The NBA hasn't decided anything. He came on there and was announcing that there's a 16-team playoffs and the Magic couldn't play Milwaukee even though they're in a different conference, which, by the way, they're not. They're in the same conference. The Magic would have played Milwaukee even if it was East and West, EJ. Also, they haven't decided anything. He said that they were going to end the season where they stopped. Nobody has made that decision yet. He said they officially decided on Disney, and while that is all but assured, nothing has been finalized yet. They still may play a abbreviated end of the season, ended at 72 games. There's still a lot of factors on the table, and EJ's out here talking like he's the NBA commissioner. You guys got to get rid of this Nerd Jock thing. It sucks.
Okay, he took a real hot take at the end. Sorry, I didn't play it all the way to the end.
Here, this may be my fault, sir, because EJ, he knows way more about the nerd stuff, and that's what he's into than the jock stuff. Even though
it should just be a nerd segment.
Yeah, but I don't like all the nerd stuff, so that's why I suggested. I'm like, yeah, just do nerd and jock. Because you used to play.
I'm with you. It's time to circumcise that bit and cut it out. Cut it out of the show.
You played for UM. You played college football. You're a jock.
But that means nothing. No, Seth Petrozelli was a UFC fighter and doesn't know who's on the roster.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, no, I know.
He only knows, he only knows Felicia because he holds pads for her.
Yeah. It's just.
I texted him one night because I was trying to get on Bovada and make a bet on one of these UFC fights, and you weren't answering your phone, which arguably it's family time, or you were gambling, and I don't want to interrupt that, and you weren't answering me, so I text Seth, and he's like, "Who? I don't know who's on the card."
No, Seth knows nothing about it. Here's the thing, sir. EJ will definitely hear this, and then it'll get into his head,
feelings.
And then he'll start trying to research more. So this is the great balance. Your criticism.
So you're saying this needed to happen in order to kind of set homeostasis correct within the delicate.
I don't think he'll do more research.
Yeah, you're probably right.
People have complained about this before, and it continues.
Yeah. So,
the other way of handling this would be to just make it a nerd segment.
No,
which there are people in the chat saying he doesn't know about the nerd stuff either. So he just knows Pokemon. It's just Pokemon.
Okay, he could just call in and give us Pokemon update.
Yeah, no, I don't want that.
Okay, I don't want that either. But look, I'm here to please people. I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So listen, he'll not get everything.
Look, man, if it'll make you happy, you can circumcise me.
He'll get a general idea of what's going on. I'll try to help him. Although I have been thinking about doing
they're getting serious.
a more of a sports segment with. I got an individual in mind. I got to see if he'll do it.
I know who you're talking about.
But we'll see if it gets closer.
Old man
to when time sports gets back up and running.
Better get going because I don't know how much longer that guy's going to be alive.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
Let's just say not to spoil it, but let's just say lunch with Harold.
We'll figure something out. But he's on the clock right now.
Yeah, probationary status.
Yeah. Get your stories right.
Yeah,
this gentleman's right.
Well, he's going to be on today's show, so we'll talk to him. We'll talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And
he'll be up next.
He'll be up next, and I will play this voicemail again for him.
No.
Yes, Sam.
Okay, so this is called Spider Monday Story, which is great. Everyone is inundating me with spiders.
Well, it's Tuesday, but we can go with the Spider Monday.
Hey, gang, I just wanted to share a spider experience I had back in 2010, 2011. Right before we moved from Florida to Virginia, I came across a golden orb weaver, commonly called banana spider. Me and my buddy were cleaning out the garage as part of the move, and while taking the trash out across the street, I noticed what has got to be the single largest spider in spider web I have ever seen. The web literally stretched from the ground up to the power lines, with a spider almost the size of my palm sitting right in the center of it. Absolutely one of the craziest things I've ever seen. While tearing the web down, my buddy managed to get the majority of the web on a stick with the spider dangling off the end, and he started waving and flinging the spider around, trying to mess with me.
That is something you do when you have a creature, an animal, an injured animal, a fish.
Your buddy's scared of it.
You wing it around. gonna get you.
Chase them around with it. Yeah.
It came
And the
to
person's like, no, like, you're terrified.
But then
I
they
would be
say
running down the street.
things that they should. They're like, I will kill you. You get that on me, Jerry.
Right.
Yeah, but you know they won't. They can't.
They're your buddy.
It came to an end when he swung it too hard and it spun all the way around him and he couldn't get out of the way in time and the spider ended up landing right on his leg. Almost in an instant, he smacked the spider off his pants and jumped and stomped straight down on it and made it spurt out its backside like a tube of toothpaste. Anyway, love the show and keep up the good work. BDM for life.
Yeah, what are the spiders?
Meanwhile, it did nothing to you. And
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah, it was
stomped
just
into-
hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, I saw you while
Killing
you were
insects.
grilling when I was over at your house, naked in your hot tub, and you were grilling a snack and sausage for me. I saw you get a spider off your gas grill and put it on like a little piece of paper, and then gently take it over and put it in your your tomato plants.
Yeah. My Crystal has. I've been trying to. It's funny. I think about this. This is the dumbest
No, I thought
stuff
it was
think
cool.
about.
I wasn't making fun of it. By the way.
No,
I was
I'm
just
not talking about the spider.
You made me rethink it because I saw you do that, and I was like, "Well, should I be doing that?"
I'm trying to train myself to say Crystal instead of my wife. I've been doing it for, a decade.
Do I say my wife or do I say Andrea?
You say kind of
Andrea.
50-50.
Yeah, but I usually go.
Sometimes you say your mom.
I say my wife, and I realize I'm talking to our audience. They know her name is Crystal. I don't need to say my wife. It's just an old radio thing that I used to say my wife all the time because I was like trained to talk to a bigger audience. Like, they don't know your wife. Yeah, like there could be new listeners. Like at the time
right.
they changed.
And
it's an old man
but
thing.
there
that I'm
never
doing.
were. so-
No, but it's an old man radio thing that I'm trying to break the habit. Anyway, so that's why I keep saying my wife, and then I go to Crystal. Anyway.
You could have just done that. We didn't need the explanation.
Well, I feel like people are like, why every time he says it, he's
I don't
like,
think anyone's thinking that.
I'm with
maybe
you.
you're right.
I'm with you.
Anyway, she taught me save all animals, no matter what. And it's like with a spider.
I can't get down with that.
Now,
What about invasive species? Where does she stand on that?
she understands they should be killed. But she won't do it herself, and she doesn't want to see it. But if I had to do it, she wouldn't be mad at me. Also, cockroaches can be killed, and ants can be killed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do
There's a
spiders?
hierarchy here.
What do
Yeah,
spiders do? Should I be okay? Here's my problem with spiders. On my
Spiders,
balcony,
we just take them outside.
well, in my balcony, which is outside, they just kind of make their nests and things, and it's not. It's kind of gross and unsightly.
Yeah.
Is that allowed if I clean their nest down, or should I let them kind of integrate into my balcony?
No, you could just relocate them into the bushes or somewhere else.
I can't relocate those orange nests though, or the sacks with the
the sacks, you got to
Yeah.
get rid of those. The Crystal's fine with
because they keep away like
killing the
flying.
sacks.
They keep away like flying insects, right? So there is a benefit to having them around.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't know what it is.
they'll flies, mosquitoes, like other pests. Spiders are good for. It's just one of those things.
I was impressed when you did it.
You just let them outside. No big deal.
Here, let's try this guy.
Good evening, Tom, Dan, and Sam. Butler, whatever you're doing, great. So, my wife is a bit of an orange soda fan. And I also am an orange soda fan. I am a true Floridian. So, as we've been doing some orange soda drinking lately, we realized, oh boy, Sunkist, that is like Roofer's coffee, go-go juice. Wake you up in the morning, bam!
I love it.
Full of caffeine. Then we realized most orange sodas don't have caffeine like
True.
a Sunkist, which of course is all natural orange juice or something. But, a Fanta, it's a real nice evening orange soda. It's almost like a session IPA. It's a little calmer and it's a little bit more tolerable, in the evening. So for you true Floridians who like your orange soda, Sunkist in the morning, Fanta in the evening. AM PM.
Wow.
AM, PM. And they're right, because you and I were just talking, the reason I selected this one, you and I were just talking about this last week.
Yeah. The orange sodas and.
But we were talking about how Sunkist, I believe, is up there, like maybe right under like a Mountain Dew when it comes to like being chock full of delicious caffeine.
Yeah. It also it should be on the Florida state flag because it seems like a
Yeah.
Primarily a Florida. My mom still to this
19
day.
milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, I would buy a shirt that
Sunkist,
said
then.
Sunkist in the morning, Fanta in the evening. Like that.
Where does Crush sit in this system?
I think Crush is kind of...
That's Poro Sunkist.
Yeah, it's kind of Poro.
So
That's white trash.
also, I believe it's got 200. Because I've been trying to get my mom off Sunkist for years and get her to move to diet or something. I'm like, Mom, you can't. You're.
But it tastes good.
You're an older lady. You can't be drinking Sunkist anymore. Like you've been drinking this for 40
It's
years
delicious.
or whatever. When I was a kid, I remember running it hot, like playing football outside, running and like looking through we didn't have water. We didn't have like filtered water or
Yeah.
anything.
No.
I drink out of the hose and then I run in and I chug a Sunkist to try to quench my thirst.
Yeah.
All it is.
You
By
drink
the way-
it so fast it burns your throat.
Shouldn't be drinking that at 7 years old.
Oh, it gives you
it's
energy. Knock your teeth out.
Yeah, pure sugar. It's not healthy for you at all. No adult should be drinking full sugar sodas.
Well, who's it for then? Because kids, 7-year-olds and adults can't do it?
Yeah,
I think it's for everybody.
I mean,
It's from ages 7 to 70 is what I think.
Okay.
I think it's for everybody.
I just feel like
Live your life.
you're gonna have some how many grams of sugar in there?
Oh,
I know
what,
I'm
30?
I don't want to be some health junkie. I'm not
28 grams of sugar or something like
by
that,
any
right?
means. I just
It's a lot.
hard to justify that. It's like
43 grams.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
way low. I said 30 at my highest.
yeah. I'm just when I look at a Sunkist, I'm like, yes, I am well aware that it's a delicious sugary treat. I just look at it and I'm like, how many White Claws is this? Like, I think this is, if you go by 70s, this is 3 White Claws.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like I could have 3 70 White Claws, and instead of this one, and those 3 White Claws give me a butt. Like I'll go alcohol if I'm gonna get sugar.
No, I get you.
I'll go alcohol. You know, it's like my dad used to not smoke cigarettes, but he'd smoke weed, and he used to tell my mom, like, I don't like if I'm going to smoke something, I'm going to smoke weed. The cigarettes don't get me high, so that was his
I like that
rationality.
logic,
I hear
yeah.
you. We went through. You and I went through a phase years ago. I want to say like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, where we would mix
Diet Sunkist and
Diet
vodka.
Sunkist and orange vodka together and call it a Star Kiss.
Yeah.
Because it was caffeine and alcohol. It's good. It's like handmade Four Loco.
That's a year I got blacked out on that in the early morning afternoon of a camping trip,
Yeah.
and I tried to jump over a river. Remember,
We had to
And
talk you down.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Don't do it," and
We're like, I still got it.
yeah.
And that Starkiss strength.
Yeah.
By the
You
way,
got, one more. We got time for
Yeah.
one more.
Since there was a difference in height, I was trying to jump over from one ledge down. I would blow my ankles out in the middle of nowhere, and then have to be paddled back in the middle of the night in excruciating ankle pain.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
Break your ankles like in the movie Misery.
yeah. And then I have to listen to Crystal bitch at me the entire time she paddles me back, and my ankles
Yeah.
are broken. Like that seems like a miserable time.
Yeah.
Or just not jump.
Where do you guys stand on purple soda before we move on?
I don't drink orange soda or purple soda. Never been a fan.
I'm orange soda. My wife loves a delicious ice cold purple soda.
Yeah, a Welchers. Is that
Welchers?
Welchers is what you do on Bex.
What is it called?
It's just Welch's.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But Fanta, Welch's. I don't know. Welch's.
There's also a Crush grape. I
Crush.
believe.
Crush has strawberry. Crush has a lot
Yeah.
of different. I am a fan of the fruity sodas.
Yeah, it's just how can you justify drinking one with so much sugar?
Fago grape.
I guess it's like
God.
the only thing.
There's a Zevia grape. You guys are
I've
interested
had
in
it.
that?
I've had it. It's not. No.
There's also a Sunkist grape.
Yeah, I've had Sunkist grape. Yeah, no.
Not for me.
I can't.
Got to swear that stuff off.
Hurts my teeth.
Let's do one more email.
All
Take
right.
a quick
Hey,
break.
Dan. Hope you and the rest of the gang and your families are being as safe as you can during this uncertain time. I wanted to ask you if you had any info to share about the game Witcher 3. I know it's been a while and you're probably onto something else by now. I'm not a gamer that plays every day, more like once or twice a week. However, because of all of what's going on, a lot of the games are on sale now, and I got the Witcher game for just $15 the other day.
That's a great steal. That's a steal.
Yeah. Any hints that could help me during the gameplay or things to be certain to look out for? I'm sure I could look stuff up online, but just wanted to get your perspective on it since you seemed to be so into it a while back.
Oh, I love it. I beat it. Like, I beat every possible part of it. I beat all the downloadable content and everything there. Just take your time. That game is immense and it's super fun. And just take your time and be mindful of like where you save. I would say that, but really, that game can do no wrong in my eyes. There's boobies in it. There's the story's great, the art's great, the characters are great, the voicing is great. It's just a great video. It's not like a video game. It's like a playable, like Game of Thrones.
Is that show still on? Like
it will be back. Okay. Yeah. We finished a very good show. Not as good as the game, but it's good.
I think, next summer or something? Next spring?
Everything's going to get pushed back because of COVID. So
also, we're in a time where everybody's wishing, like, I hope your family's safe and everything. And I do the same thing, too, because you feel like you need to add that into an intro to some, like, when you're texting or emailing someone you haven't emailed in a while before this, you're like, have to put that in there. Although I've put my family in way more danger before any of this happened. And I've been, right now, is the safest they've been.
That's true.
Like when you used to take like road trips and I'm driving with my family in the car and then I'm like I snap into it, I'm like, whoa, zoned out there for a second. That wasn't safe. You know what I'm saying? Like lots of those times that I definitely have put my family in way more danger than the past couple months than I ever could have. So you should have been wishing me that my long time ago.
But definitely get all the downloadable content if you can, and good luck with it. Have fun with it. I guess that's it. Yeah, sorry. I think I got nothing else to answer that guy. Yeah. So let's take a quick break. We'll take one. We will come back and do more of a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this. It is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay.
You moved in. What's wrong?
Yeah, the world's burning.
There's a lot going on. Yeah. You just got to be nice to everybody. And hopefully we can... laugh a little bit with you today. Go to TomandDan.com for all things Tom and Dan, and you can do me a huge favor by going to our YouTube page. If you're on YouTube, just search Tom and Dan Live. We got tons of videos on there, including all of the Swervy Jones cartoons that he put out years ago with special appearances by like the Shark Week stuff that we did. Akeem Woods is on there telling a story. I think Monique and Tone X are on there. We got a lot of like really cool stuff that you can check out just on YouTube. Search Tom and Dan Live. Obviously, every show that we do, we try to do it live on Twitch. We're live on Twitch right now. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. Tom, you know what time it is, so
yeah.
I guess let's do this. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by StreamlineFlorida.com. If you want to maybe do a cash out refi, get some money out of your house right now, pay off some debt, get your your life business straight.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Brian and his team are amazing. Yeah. They're just good folks.
You know, maybe get that mortgage insurance off of your bill every month. Just call Brian because he'll tell you what he can do. You'll give him the information over the phone, and it'll be like, yeah, if you refi, I'll get you this rate, and this will be your payment, and you won't have to pay your mortgage for 2 months, and maybe you could take some cash out and pay off your credit cards or your car or whatever. Like, you know,
they make it super easy, too.
A smart business decision you can make for your life that will be better for you. Just call Brian.
Absolutely. You got options. Call Brian and his Streamline team.
So, we have a person on line 1, but he doesn't want to go by his name.
No. I can give him a name.
All right,
Detective Anonymous.
I'm going to give him the name Dilly Daryl.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Corolla.
No. Okay.
Dillydale Corolla.
It's too long and ridiculous.
Well, you could just call him Dillydale.
I don't want to call him that.
Okay. How about Rosebud?
All right, Rosebud.
Okay.
So,
Professor Rosebud.
it's Detective Rosebud.
Yeah.
Oh, Detective Rosebud.
Detective Rosebud, are you there?
Yes, I am. How you guys doing today?
It's my favorite
I
thing.
should have just said Bob.
You don't know. The only thing Tom hates more than this is when I ask questions about Jar Jar Binks.
So, what is your job, Detective Bud?
I was a homicide detective for 8 years.
Oh, man.
So
That is spicy.
This is an interesting one. When becoming a homicide detective, what's the route? Because I don't think a lot of people know.
I don't. In fact, I asked this question 2 nights ago watching First 48 with my wife because there was a guy in there solving a case, and when he came out, he's like, this just really feels good. This is my first homicide that I get to close. And I was like, this guy's a new guy?
Yeah.
How do you get to be the new guy?
Yeah.
So apparently you guys got the training manual because, of course, all the police officers will watch First 48 and 48 Hours in Dateline to become a homicide detective.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm halfway there.
But in all seriousness, you become a police officer. In the beginning, you're going to start off in patrol. You want to get some seasoning, get used to being interviewing people, speaking to people, investigating smaller crimes. From there, after about 5 years or so, you'll then try to become a detective, maybe for property crimes like burglary, economic crimes like fraud, and then from there, is when you'll try to make the next jump to either homicide or crimes against persons.
So you just apply to be a detective and you get promoted?
Yes, you'll you usually put in to go to homicide. Like I said, they're going to know your background. They're going to know your experience level. You want to probably have around 10 years of experience on the street and in other detective positions before you go there.
Now, like when you do that, is it as simple as like going to, I guess, your whoever's in command of your area, and then you apply via email, paper, or whatever? Do you have to sit down and do a series of interviews before you can be accepted into it, almost like you're applying for a job or college?
Exactly, you're exactly right. You're gonna you would apply, put in a memo for transfer, then you'll go through a series of interviews, and then you're usually hand selected at that point.
Gotcha.
Based on your prior work.
Is there like some sort of Wonderlic test like there is for QBs so that
That's a good question.
you take some sort of detective test that like gives them information about how you think or your reasoning or anything like that? Is there like any sort of training that you or schooling for being a detective, or is it literally just on the job training and your experience?
It's on-the-job training, but also you're going to be, you'll get sent to various schools, like interview schools, kinetic schools, how to determine if people are lying to you, forensic schools, for DNA evidence, and other schools to assist you in these long-term investigations. And, courtroom testimony school, so you learn how to testify in court in front of a jury.
Gotcha.
So, is it like I would imagine where the bigger the city, the more experienced homicide detectives, because of the frequency of murder,
Well, I don't know about you, Tom, but this city never sleeps.
Is more like, obviously, than a small town. You may deal with, very few murders, and then in a big city, you may have murders literally being investigated
Daily.
24 hours, or it never stops. So is that kind of how you work up the ranks, and then do you move to the city to become, progress to, a better homicide detective?
Yes, absolutely. So most of the time you're going to stay within the same organization. But say the city I work for is about the same size as Orlando. So your cities like Miami have 24-hour rotating homicide detectives. They have 3 full divisions of homicide detectives because of the amount of detectives homicides they have. Well, in my city, we have 1 branch of homicide division. So it just depends on your size. Like when you see on the First 48, Memphis, they're extremely busy. They have 3 different rotations. But yeah, like the city the size of Orlando, you're probably going to have 1 detective division for homicide.
That's the part that's always been kind of fascinating to me in watching those type of shows, is that you could end for the day and maybe be on for a really, really long particular shift. You kind of gather up your evidence or what you've organized, and then do you go home to your family and then kind of hand it off to the next guy? Do you have to brief that person in order to get them up to speed as to what you've, like, who you've contacted, which people you've picked up, and how you've kind of gathered the case?
Well, you picked up on a good point there. So, like in the smaller cities, once you're on the homicide, it's like the first 48. You're there till it's over with, until you want to try to solve it as quickly as possible. Everything they say about the first 48 is really true. Once that you lose those leads and the tips and the witnesses, your case is going to go cold, and it's going to be hard to solve.
Right.
So once we come in, I've worked a 32-hour day before. Yep, there's only 24 hours in a day. But, we had multiple homicides, and, we're a smaller city.
Right.
So once we're there for the long haul, and we work as hard as we can, as quick as we can, to get the family the answers they need, and try to bring closure to the case and the homicide.
Let me ask you this. I talked to a homicide detective in Miami one time. He was a friend of my brother-in-law.
I remember this.
And I was just interviewing him for a long time about this kind of thing. And he said something interesting to me I never thought of, where he was like, TV shows like the First 48 has actually taught murderers how to get away with crimes. And like he said, the biggest thing that it exposed to the general public that no one knew about is their ability, now everybody knows, but their ability to trace your cell phone through tower pings. Mm-hmm. And that show taught people that, like, hey, leave your cell phone at home if you're going to go commit a crime or somewhere else, because they'll know where you are. They'll use it to track you. And then he's like, a lot of criminals learned that and therefore took away that valuable tool we had, because he said that for a while, for a good period of time, no one knew about that, and they were solving a lot of crimes just based on cell phone pings. Sure. And then the information got out.
It's like, how are they finding me?
Yeah. And now everybody knows. So is there a lot of stuff like that you wish like TV shows didn't expose to the common criminal that now they know of?
Well, I'm glad you talked about this. Is a great point. Yes, that is exactly true. I'll tell you a funny story. These criminals do watch the First 48. I was interviewing one of my first homicides. I'm interviewing a suspect, and he's talking to he's debating whether or not to tell me the truth or not. And that's one of the things of being a homicide detective. You got to be quick-witted, think on your feet, be able to interview. And he brought up the fact that he was debating whether or not to tell us the truth or not. And he goes, "Man, I watched the First 48. I know at the end everybody gets life." So when I came back I want to think like a normal person. Does a normal person watch the credits? No. So I came back to him. I said, "Well, did you watch the credits of the First 48? He goes, "No, I didn't watch the credits of the First 48. Well, in the credits, it says some people get 10 years, some people get 15 years, somebody gets 20 years, but not everybody gets life." He decided he wanted to tell the truth at that point.
But you were lying, because everybody does get life.
Oh, that's not true.
I watch it. So you just got to fool the dodos. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah. One of the things that intrigues me about, and I hate to keep even bringing it up, but one of my favorite things to see on First 48 happened, I want to say 2 nights ago, when Andrea and I were watching it, because she's addicted to it. Like, she loves true crime. So we're watching this, and the guy and the girl, the guy had, shot somebody, and his wife was with him. They both come to the station. Well, they got her in one room, started talking to her, and then got all of her information. They got him in one room, started talking to him, and then they started lying to both of them to get them to spin out of control. Man, that's fun to watch. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good when you watch both people just lying their asses off. Oh, and they got them so good.
So I want to talk to you about the interrogation in a minute, but like when you go to a crime scene, you show up. From what I've experienced just in life, a lot of your time is investigating deaths to determine whether there's like some sort of foul play or not, or if it was a natural death or whatever. So talk about that. Don't you go to a lot of regular deaths and then have to investigate whether it's
a homicide
or not, because it seems like anytime someone dies in their house or something that's not an obvious car crash or something, they send a homicide detective to determine. And so there's a lot of that, and which is basically, I wouldn't say a waste of your time, but a lot of obvious people just dying in their house, and then you have to go on there and be like, yeah, this is not anything fishy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They call those usually suspicious deaths and unattended deaths. You bring up a good point, because we have to go after those as well. The body does horrible things after you pass away. So often, decomposition starts to set in pretty quick. The smells are smells like you'll never believe or imagine. One time, you often got to try to roll the body to make sure there's no trauma to the body. And I've had guys, or people that passed away the horrible noises and I've had people, scare the heck out of me by when I roll them over and they make the noise.
Quick question, Hotshot. How many bodies have you rolled?
It's Rosebud.
Officer Rosebud, how many bodies have you rolled and then they farted?
A good number amount, and it's the worst smell.
More than 10?
The most. Oh yeah. Oh god.
That's hundreds of body farts.
How do you eat your Jimmy John sub after that?
I mean, you can't.
I've had to run out the house.
Yeah, you can't eat the gargantuan, but you can eat a Slim John.
How do you not let that affect you?
I couldn't last one day on that. With my dad and I inherited it from my dad. Anytime if you guys really started getting graphic with something that was real, or if I had to see it, I'll pass out.
Yeah.
I've always been that way, man.
So, do you have to compartmentalize all that stuff, and does it become easier after time?
It does become easier. It still lingers with you a little bit, especially the trauma side. We see the most horrific things, and child deaths are really tough. So, I mean, those are the things, and the emotional side from the families, that when you have to notify them of the death, it does take a piece of you. So, I almost quit after my first dead body that I saw when I was in patrol as a patrol officer. It was an eye-opening experience for sure. So, I mean, it does take a toll on you.
But then you get to solve things, like they did show on 2 nights ago when I was watching, they showed a guy who got to call the mother of a young man who'd been shot, and they were able to say, hey, I know for a fact I got the guy, and he is locked up. I mean, that's got to feel, if there is any shred of good there, it's in giving that person maybe some closure or some silence.
Absolutely, bring the closure to the family is what we take. We take very seriously and prideful. It means a lot to be able to tell the mother, brother, sister, family what happened to their loved one, because they always want to know the details involved, and you really can't tell them the details involved until the case is solved, and letting them know, and because that's going to weigh and take a toll on them as well, not knowing what actually happened.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
Make your mind run crazy.
Because I imagine that all our perception of reality is skewed from television and movies, and so when we think of homicides, we generally think of what we've seen in like CSI or movies and things like that, where you're showing up to a case and you're trying to figure out who did it through the evidence you find at the case. And that seems to me like the rarity. Most of the time, I imagine it's someone was shot, and then it's some friend or family or somebody sort of
tells you
and then like someone knows, like, oh yeah, this guy did it, and then you have to put the evidence to then try that guy for murder rather than using evidence to figure out who did it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Is that correct?
Absolutely. So you never want to have to just rely on your physical evidence to solve your case, because that takes time. And like I said, so we rely on people like Detective Barb with Crime Stoppers, getting tips from the public, interviewing witnesses. You can get the probable cause much faster that way, and learn a lot about the victim. You're going to do victimology so that you can try to identify the suspect in the direction you need to go as quickly as possible. You always want to use your evidence, your physical evidence, to supplement your case, not make it, because you can't count on it. There's no 100%. Hey, there's going to be suspect DNA here.
And there, and not to even delve into this, but that's why your relationship with the public, with your community, is so important. Because if you're not trusted, then you're not going to get information.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You know, it's like you gotta be trustworthy, and they need to trust you.
Yes. So most of the neighborhoods that I work, I have many people that I talk to that are great people and will call me the minute something bad happens. They're called informants.
Yeah.
But people call them snitches, but they're community members that will reach out to me the minute something happens and let me know, hey, Timothy just shot JoJo down the street.
Right.
And that's how we get onto them so fast.
In your you said you've been a homicide detective for 10 years?
Yes, it was 8.
So in all your years of experience, have you ever seen a random murder, like where it didn't link up to any friend or family or associate or whatever? It was just pure killing, kind of like I don't know about a serial killer, because maybe it just happened once or he killed one person.
Could just be a crazy person.
But have you ever seen a random?
Yeah, yes. We typically, every homicide detective wants to work a serial killer case, and we don't want anybody to die, of course. But everybody's always wants to work a serial killer case. It's very few and far between. We have had some whodunits, like you would say, we had an elderly couple on a houseboat that was taped up, duct taped, and stabbed several times, and had their jewelry taken from the safe on board their houseboat. That was a whodunit, but it ended up being the handyman. The randomness is kind of not there often, which is good.
I'm curious to how'd you find out it was a handyman?
Yeah, trail of pain pills into the closet. That's how you know.
Well, you're not too far away from it. Of course, drugs lead to about 90% of our murders. So the way we figured it out was we started interviewing all the boat owners. It was in a marina. We started interviewing all the boat owners, and they kept telling us this suspect. They kept giving us a name that it's funny. He's here every day, but now he's not here today. And that's what led to, hey, we need to go talk to that handyman. And we already found out he was on the run, and he had already pawned some of the victim's jewelry. We ran the girlfriend down. They disposed of evidence.
He was already helping Tom's fence up and pay his back wall.
So
is that who dug the trench in his backyard?
Yeah, that's
there's a lot of shady individuals.
Yeah, he was over at Tom's house. Tom's like, you're covered in blood. He's like, well, I'll help you dig this French drain. Chop, 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 chop.
I'm giving him a second chance. What I'm interested in is the evidence that we see. I think we all watch CSI or whatever.
Yeah, all the Hollywood,
and we expect there to be some sort of insane science or forensic science that goes into all this. And you're looking at blood splatter, and you got the long fluorescent orange sticks that you're like
using
the gunshot
360
trajectory
camera to map the room.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
Is there? How much of the actual CSI science forensic stuff is happening?
Like, you don't have a woman back at HQ who looks like a goth nerd who can download the coordinates and send them to your robot motorcycle partner who can drive you through the back streets of Gotham, right?
Yeah, of course. We all our departments have one of those at our station. But in all seriousness, when I first became a homicide detective, I love CSI, but it was totally not true.
Yeah.
But as the last 10 years, technology has gained an advantage. DNA has become very, very sensitive. Before you'd be lucky to get one DNA, sample. Now you're getting multiple DNAs on one swab. That's become that sensitive. So, you can't get a fingerprint off a rock or a brick that you see on CSI. That's just never going to happen. You can only get prints off of hard surfaces like glass, windows, some metal doors.
It is interesting to see, though. It's almost like Star Trek to our space program. It's almost like CSI leads with things that are completely unbelievable, but as time goes on, maybe those things actually
can happen,
can influence reality in a weird way.
Yes, so one of the things that we have is called a Faro system. They'll put this device in the center of the homicide scene, and it'll do a 3D scan of the entire 360 scan. And it's a 3D scan of the entire crime scene. So it's a virtual, like you said, that you're talking about technology that you can go back later, and it'll scan everything in the room down to all the blood splatter, and it'll help lay out your crime scene for you to look at later as well.
That's crazy.
Let me ask you this question. We've heard stories about like Apple not wanting to work with like investigators when it comes to like hacking open a criminal's phone or a victim's phone.
2 nights ago. They didn't have the password. They had the phone, but they couldn't get into it.
So are you allowed, like let's say there's a victim on the floor and there's their phone and it's got a passcode to it. Could you use facial recognition with a victim to open their phone to somehow then aid you in the investigation of who killed this person? Is that legal to do? Has laws even progressed to where that is even written to? I don't
know. That's a good question.
Is that like illegal search and seizure if you're using the facial recognition
or the finger,
of a dead person? Yeah, or finger. Or how does that work?
So you hit on an excellent topic. That is, currently there is case law being formed up and down the state reference to that. Like over near my area, we had a gentleman that used the fingerprint from the thumb to unlock his cell phone after he was already dead, and that became a big issue. So whether you could legally or legally not do that. And the courts are kind of, they changed their opinion on, with the flow of the tide lately. So, that's a great question about using facial recognition, using it to unlock their phone. Of course, that would help us, aid us in our investigation, but is it legal? And, the question is, it's 50-50. Someday, the case law changes pretty regularly with the cell phones.
Do you think right now, if you wanted to become a master criminal and if this was a superhero world, because of what you know, could you get away with
I'm picturing
an insane amount of murders?
I'm picturing Gru from Minions.
Could a intelligent person using knowledge that's readily available, all this stuff is now available online. You can know exactly what a homicide detective does or what the clues he's looking for. It's all out there. So there's no secrets, it seems like. But could a criminal really study up and have an upper hand? I mean, I'm guessing randomness with no witnesses, leaving no evidence behind.
Should Sam and I be scared right now?
No, I'm just saying that. Do you ever see that happen, or is that just fictional BS that we want to tell ourselves that there's some sort of master criminal figuring out how to murder people and get away with it? It's mostly just drugs, money, some sort of passion, killing, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so I've often thought, if I want to go out and kill someone right now, how could I do it and could I get away with it? And the answer is most likely not, because everyone makes a mistake. There's too many opportunities to make mistakes through your cell phone, through your internet searches. Imagine walking out your door, your camera's on the left or right of you. So you would have, oftentimes the truth is not what convicts you, it's your lies that convict you in court. So you got to have a strong alibi. The minute you leave your house, you're probably on TV, on a camera somewhere. Your cell phone, of course, your internet searches, your DNA. DNA technology has increased so much in 10 years. It's virtually, I'm not going to say you can't get away with murder, but you have to be 100% perfect. It's like batting 1,000 in baseball. Is it possible? I guess so, but it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially with all the cameras, it seems like nowadays there's so many different cameras, whether they're on traffic lights, at ATMs, people's Ring doorbell. I bet you solve a lot of stuff through Ring doorbell now, right?
Oh, Ring doorbell is awesome. That's what we're looking for when we go to canvass a neighborhood. We're looking for Ring doorbells One time we had somebody that got killed in an alley, and there were no witnesses out there, and the only reason we were able to solve it is because we had HD quality. The cameras have improved too. HD quality and sound on these Nest cameras and Ring cameras, and that's what solved the murder, was this camera with such good video. And then we used the public to help us, like Crime Stoppers, put it out to the public. That's why we'll put photos out, and that's how we solve a lot of these crimes.
Huh. All right. Well, we'll end with this. If you work your way up to homicide detective, let's say a medium-sized city, because I know your pay differs between whether you're in like New York or Orlando. But like, let's say a city the size of Orlando,
average city.
What could you pull in a year as a homicide detective?
I'm not going to tell you, Tom.
I can look it up. Joke's on you. It's easily. I can look it up right now.
Can you frame him for murder, Detective Rosebud?
With overtime, you can easily make about $125,000.
That's an honest detective answer. He's solving he gave you you didn't even get a chance to bat that one around.
Yeah. Although a very difficult job, especially
hard, man.
Working
trauma you have to deal with
36 hours straight is a pain in the ass.
Well, look, man, I think I eventually could get myself to a point where I could do the crime scene, even though it would be very hard. And I think I could use my wit to interrogate people, and I think I'd probably be pretty good at that. But calling those families, talking to them, I'm afraid, even right now talking about that starts to trigger me hard, man.
Is that the hardest part, talking to the victim's family?
Yes, it's because it's the raw emotion. One time I had to tell a mother, her son had been shot and killed, and she had her two aunts beside her, and they literally, at the same time, all passed out and dropped down and literally hit their heads on the concrete. That's why you'll see us ask them to sit down a lot of times. Yeah. Because that happens so often. And it's the raw screams, the wrong, yelling, and it's horrific. And we hate having to do that, and it's the worst part of the job.
Could you have like an intern do that? I feel like I would not want to
send a butler in there to do it.
Tom would send Butler in there to do that.
Like, I just want to investigate the crime and figure it out and do all that part, but I don't want to have any contact with the victim's
that's like
family.
your worst nightmare because you're so uncomfortable with that sort of stuff.
Can you send like a grief counselor in to do that job? And like, why does the detective have to do all that?
Sometimes it's someone in the family, so you have to interrogate them and let
them know. One, you want to establish the rapport with the family. You want to be able to, be their point of contact. And then two, the reason we don't send an intern, we've had officers attacked after telling the family members their loved one passed away. So that's why you have to have at least two people with you when you do that, so you're protected here for officer safety purposes. Yeah. And then you want to also establish rapport with the family. And then it's a vested interest. You have a vested interest in solving that case. So that's the most important part. That drives you, that pushes you through that 31st hour to keep working on the case when you want to go home with your family too.
Do you have a shoulder-mounted holster? Because that's pretty cool.
Oh, you mean the one on right on your love handle?
Yeah. It got like the
Do you have a mustache?
I feel like
I can't grow a mustache. I would love to have the shoulder-mounted gunslinger holster, but it's not very effective. And if you don't train with it a lot, that's seconds that if you had to pull your weapon, it could cost you. So
what about this one, hotshot? You got Pepto-Bismol in your top drawer?
And a bottle of whiskey too.
Yeah.
Do you do the necklace badge or the belt buckle badge? Because
belt buckle.
I'm a necklace badge myself, guy.
Yeah, you look like a necklace badge guy. I'm a belt buckle for life.
My first day as a homicide detective, I had the belt badge that clipped onto my belt. Mm-hmm. Well, I walked around the corner and a guy came out of the garage and pulled a gun on me because he didn't realize I was a cop. So I went to the necklace badge at that point because I read up on a study that said, sometimes when you're working as a detective, having that badge around your neck readily identifies you, will prevent you from being, shot.
No, I never even thought about that. Yeah, because the badge on your belt buckle is not something, you're not looking at it necessarily.
Why don't they pin it on their shirt like the old sheriff? Like
that's
Woody from Toy Story.
That was when I was working the traffic. Now I've graduated.
Now you get a necklace.
I have graduated to a place where I can put my badge wherever I want it.
Do you have a locker that you go to?
It's got Playboy magazines. penthouse,
I think
inappropriate.
it's probably a desk, right? Instead of a locker.
Yeah, do you have a desk with your kids' photos on it?
Riggs and Murtaugh had a locker.
Actually, I do have a desk, and of course, as detectives, we play jokes on each other, and they put a picture of the Minions over my wife's head. I do have a picture of Bridget Nielsen in my locker.
Yeah.
Do
you answer the phone? Do you answer the phone like this? Hold on, let's see if I can do it. Do you answer the phone like this? Hello, this is Homicide.
Yes, hey, you know what? You bring up an awesome point. Is when you say homicide, people freak out and they will call. So when you call and say, "Hey, I'm a homicide investigator," and that's if they had nothing to do with you, they're calling you back because they want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Those Nellies.
Interesting.
Wow, this has been a good one.
Yeah.
A good Weird Job Wednesday. Well, you certainly have a weird job. You are our winner. And thanks for being so candid about stuff, Officer Rose or Detective Rosebud.
Could I just say one thing?
Sure.
Like you brought up at the beginning, everybody be kind and safe to each other. Please don't judge the men and women based on the actions of the few. We are not all the same, just like everybody else in every other group. So please, be safe. Know that your men and women that are working out there are doing everything they can to keep you safe, allow you to peacefully protest, and make sure that, we take care of each other.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's all you can say, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing what you do, and thanks for being on the show, man.
Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sam.
All right,
no
brother.
problem.
Be good. See ya. Oh,
Gonna be a hard job, man.
Stressful.
Yeah. It's just dealing with that every day, and then the death part of it is like,
you get desensitized crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
You got to do therapy after that, right?
I had
Like weekly therapy of
some people are just like their brains are wired for that stuff to not bother them as much. It's like everybody's different. So some people are just built like their brains are built to handle that. I
know two scenarios where I have a friend that wanted to be a detective and couldn't do it because he just didn't have the. It's just and it's not like a bad thing. He's just like you said. He's like, everybody's different. And he's like, I thought I wanted to do that. I got in there. I started seeing some stuff, and that's just not for me. And then I have another guy that went into it and didn't think he could handle it, but his way around it was to go in, train, and then when he started, working his way into law enforcement, he went into a regiment of like going to a therapist pre. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like whether he needed it or not, he's like, look, I'm just going to do this no matter what. It'll benefit
general
me.
Maintenance,
and then he was able to work his way up, and he still goes to a therapist regularly just to make sure he's doing, like you said, preventative maintenance on his brain.
The homicide detective I talked to down in Miami, he was working towards, like, he was kind of getting burned out. Apparently, like
NFL running back.
Yeah, there is like an amount of time that the general human being can only do for so long this job because it's the stress and then
only imagine
having to work like 24 hours, 36 hours straight during the times, and that kind of thing. Like you get burned out after a while. Then like there's another, like you progress to basically a manager of a bunch of homicide detectives where you're just the guy that has a bunch of experience.
Well, the guys that are better at certain things,
and then there's guys that work on only cold cases and things like, there's other things.
I think that would be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, I love a cold case.
Like digging into something where,
unsolved cases.
Let's see if I can help this. Let's see if I can get something off the books here.
See if somebody missed something that I can find.
Yeah. Fresh set eyes.
Although, again, a bunch of people probably are, like, their idea of it is clouded because of movies and TV shows, and it's probably, like, very rarely do you get something as exciting as you see on a TV show or a movie. Although that... him finding out the maintenance man on the boat killings and stuff like that seems... But again, it's like you're dealing with such a heavy thing that, my God, like every day...
Seems like a lot of people that live on boats at marinas get murdered.
It happens. You're kind of a fringe of society.
Yeah.
So you deal with
that
the
just
fringe.
seems like sort of a thing, like it's been in movies, it's been in shows multiple times. This guy mentioned it. He's an actual detective.
Although but again, we're probably being skewed by movies.
It's probably just easy to break into, though, I would imagine, too.
Yeah, but I bet
and usually toss the bodies over into the ocean or something.
The marinas are pretty safe, easygoing place. Like those people are everybody's,
No, I know. That's what I mean. You go in there, it's easy targets.
Yeah.
Who's going to lock their sailboat door when you're high and you're up there playing with your pet alligator?
Well, I bet it's rare though that anybody, like again, I think that a lot of this stuff is super rare.
Yeah, it's all stereotypes that we've picked up from television. So we got to take a break. Let's take one. We'll come back with more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Let's jump into some voicemail messages. I'm sorry. You make me laugh sometimes, and then you'll say something, and then I'll start thinking about it more and make myself laugh again. If you would like to leave us a voicemail message, download our free app. Just search Tom and Dan or A Mediocre Time in your app store. That's for both Android and Apple. All of our content's on there. You can sign up to be a BDM member. You can get extra content, extra videos, all kinds of fun stuff. Let's jump into some voicemail messages now. Oh, by the way, on that same app, you can leave us a voicemail message like this one right here.
Hey, gang, it's Canadian Josh. I just wanted to leave a comment regarding an interview you guys did on the Friday ACT. Tom wanted to talk to somebody about working from home. I think his name was Kurt. Really good points. I especially like the point that Kurt brought up when he said,
"How dare you, Josh?"
He's getting them good. Hold on. Up.
Love the show, guys. BDM for life.
I admire the fact he was willing to hang in there for the uncomfortable pause. I thought he was going to bail in a little early. I like a long one. Quote me on that.
Very accurate to how that call went, by the way.
You know what doesn't help your case to do a monthly bit on our show? Is making fun of one of the hosts.
Yeah, you made Daddy mad.
Because I could easily cancel your bit, Gideon Josh. Because Daniel doesn't care.
I have him on the books for June already.
This guy's drunk with power, and Tom is right. I don't care.
I could easily say, no more Josh. And Daniel like, I don't care.
I mean, who? It still rolls on. I mean, I still got to be here. I still got to talk.
You think Daniel's going to say to me, no, how dare you? I want Josh.
I stand with Josh. No,
they don't give an ass about anything.
No, I don't. Here's the other thing: is that if this guy Kurt had been on the line and been talking more, then I wouldn't have talked. But if you're not going to talk, just like Tom says, I don't care. I'm going to talk. Everything goes back to I don't care. Yeah. It's like, oh, we're doing the show. Oh, what, you're uncomfortable? Well, that I would care about. But like, I'm doing the show and you're not going to participate. I don't care. I still have to do this.
And I'll explain to tell you my case. I didn't. The whole
Are you
idea.
Backtracking? Okay, so you got hold on. He got drunk with power. He started flexing and bowing up on people, and now he's like, "Let me quantify my statement, please. A redaction. A redaction."
I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about, and then it was like flighty, and then I was like, "Yeah, let's get a guy on the BDM page that works from home." And then Samantha, because she's a great producer, got the person and set him up, but I didn't really flush out what I really wanted to talk about it more.
It's flesh out,
then
right?
ask questions
to a person.
Is it flesh out or flush out? Flush out is a toilet. I thought flesh out was like feeling out the ideas. Is it?
Oh, hold on. Is it flesh out an idea or
is it,
flush out an idea?
It's flesh out, and you said flush out, which means you what?
Oh, damn you, big fat chungus!
No, that's your best friend. That's your best friend.
I forgot your name.
That's your best friend, Norm.
You and Canadian Josh. I got it in for you.
He's been Team
Big
Tom
fat
this
Norm.
whole time.
Just wait till he flushes you guys out.
I'll flush you all out. You're going crazy.
He's losing.
Joke's on you! You're listening to a person that is an idiot.
Hashtag flush.
Yeah, royal flash.
Yeah.
I flush.
You like listening to an idiot. Joke's on you. It's you.
Yeah.
I'm just an idiot. You are listening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hypochondriac. It's flesh out. I got that one right. Hypochondriac, because I say hypochondriac because I do have an accent.
You both say that.
I try to say hypochondriac because I know what it is, but if I'm fast talking, I have a tendency to do what my dad did, and he'd be like, "Oh, Dad Lee, hammer that sledgehammer over there." You know, like.
and flush out the wheelbarrow. No.
Well, my dad's drunk. He's like, "Oh, this is a fancy party. They got hors d'oeuvres." You mean hors d'oeuvres, Dad? Yeah, sure, hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
He couldn't say the word hors d'oeuvres.
Well, it is spelled odd, so maybe he was looking at it phonetically.
Yeah, I mean, just, he was wise in business, but couldn't spell like Tom. Hors d'oeuvres. That's why they got along. They could have started a business team called Hors d'oeuvres Marketing.
Flush your idea.
Your dad would be the horty, he'd be the orbs.
Hors d'oeuvres, like Tom and my dad would be millionaires, but they'd be just as exciting as Lorenzo on the phone. and you talk to them in a meeting, you'd be like, these guys are idiots. But they'd be millionaires. My dad have every Harley known. He'd have 25 sailboats.
Turns out there's a lot of idiot millionaires. It's got to make a lot of people feel bad.
Okay, this is Carl.
I'll never be one.
I think this is Carl.
For the flush.
Which Carl? Level 10 Carl?
Yeah,
Carl Tully?
Hold on. If you flesh out an
Squad
idea,
Carl.
Yeah, he fleshed it out.
where does that come from? What's the origin of flesh out an idea?
Maybe revealing the flesh, like pulling pieces of clothing off to reveal your true self.
It's ultimate ignorance because flushing out an idea doesn't make sense either. And then I've been using that term
That's
for
swamp. That's some swamp
You
talk.
could have Porky Pigged it and been like, "Oh, flush out, think really hard."
I'm not joking. If you would have put a gun to my head and you'd be like, "Is it flesh out or flush out?" I would have died. I would have guaranteed it was flush out. It wasn't even a question until you said,
"Oh, you were." I should have bet you on that.
When you were like, "Flesh out or flush out," I honestly was like, "What? What are you saying, sir?"
He also calls it the Fairvillas Flush Light, which I'm like, "What is that? Is that the butt?"
Well, I understand that. I don't.
Flesh out is believed to have come from the idea of adding flesh, physical substance, to a skeleton or frame. When you flesh out an argument or an idea, you add more details to it, giving it more
to
substance.
build it up. Yeah, you're building it up. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I do want a shirt that says, "I'll flush you all out."
Let's flush it out, guys. Come on. You guys got great ideas. Let's flush them out. Let's try this one. This is Carl. He's been dying to tell this a lot.
Hey, Carl from Minnesota here.
Sober.
So, yeah, I just listened to the Friday Free Show and listening to ACT. Yeah, it's just crazy because I'm way up here, way north, and yeah, I've almost hit a moose before, about going 45 miles an hour. No, the reason for my message is, yeah, I thought that was pretty clever, you got the yellow tang, Wu-Tang, you call him face. Yeah, how about face Gilla? Just saying, pretty clever there. Anyways, hang up and listen. Bye.
Moose man.
That will be the last call. That will be the last call we take from Carl.
We flush you out. Good day.
Is that level 10,
You've been
Carl?
flushed.
You've been flushed.
Yeah, because I think he's from Minnesota or something. Where's he living?
Level 10, Carl, we only like you when you're so drunk you sound like you're about to die.
And then I play a little bit of you on the Friday Free Show where you go, and then I turn it off, and then everybody feels better about their alcoholism, and we move on with our lives.
True.
Flush it out.
Yeah. We don't like your Wu-Tang jokes. Stick with the being blacked out.
Oh, going back to it, Hot Attorney?
Yeah, big Wu-Tang fan.
Yeah, big Wu-Tang tattoo on his arms when he's posing there. It's like, I like that guy. If he likes the Wu-Tang, I mean...
We should get him in on the show.
And I think
Flush 'em
Mythbusters
out.
did a myth about hitting a giant moose, and the myth was that if you see a moose in the road, instead of slamming on your brakes,
aim for it.
If you're inevitably going to hit it, no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you should accelerate instead of slamming your brakes because the moose is so tall that if you actually keep going the speed you were going or accelerate, that you may just take its legs out and the moose...
my God.
Man, that's going to be a massacre.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to hit it anyway, the theory would
you
be...
just get all its legs and then it just...
And then its body were the main weight and the...
It's almost on top of your
So
car.
the idea is to pull the silk tablecloth with all the dishes on it, right?
Fast enough.
But you're doing it with a car and a moose.
I mean, it'll kill the moose for sure, but it
Not
won't...
necessarily. We got modern medicine.
You got to get him wheels for legs.
It won't kill you because apparently people die by hitting moose.
You ever seen a motor moose?
The damn things are
Ever given a
800.
moose a muffin?
800 pounds, and then they crush the car, and then they kill the people inside.
I think if you took its legs out, it would crush the car, no?
Well,
you got to be going really fast, so you go under it, and it goes up a little bit, and then lands behind you.
The body, but I think they busted the myth, and it turns out slamming the brakes or just hitting at full speed.
Same.
Everyone dead.
It'll still crush.
Either way, dead. Both of you, Moose and you.
They put a big gelatin mousse or something, like
jelly mousse,
and they hit it with a car going different speeds. I can't remember the outcome.
What happened to the?
Wow.
What happened to Big Mouth Carrie from MythBusters?
They all three didn't re-sign their contracts. I looked into this because I was
I never watched
you missed
that
her,
show.
bro, didn't you?
Apparently, Discovery Channel wanted to just keep paying them the same, and they all three got together, and they're like,
we're going to get leverage, and we're going to hold out.
Yeah. And then they didn't, and then that's when they tried to start their own like Netflix show. Remember that fizzled out fast. And then the other two MythBusters,
Fable Crushers,
I think did it for one more season, maybe by themselves without the assistance.
It seemed like that show and everything about it ended poorly. It was like the young teens that were like, I always looked at them like that. The kids that assisted them left.
Yeah.
The two dumb old men seemed to not get along anymore. They went their separate ways. Then they did some weird they did a tour where you could go. For kids, right? It's like a helium balloon and a hydrogen balloon. Let's put a candle under it.
Crystal bought me tickets. This was still on the radio, but she's like, he loves MythBusters. I'm going to get him tickets for like a birthday.
I like dogs. Why don't you get me tickets to Paw Patrol?
And then it was at.
She's got a book out if you want to read.
Carrie Byron.
I can't read, but maybe she has an audio book.
It's called Living with a Big Mouth.
And we showed up to Bob Carr.
Crash Test Girl.
And I'm dressed in like like a tucked in business shirt.
Oh, you dressed up?
I'm like, it's Bob Carr, like fancy.
Oh, can I get away with a Guy Harvey tucked in? No, put on a collar shirt, all guy.
Tuxedo t-shirt.
All right, Tom and Diane.
And then we parked, and then we're walking. And then
here we go, Old Navy mustard bottles.
We're looking. I'm looking around, and everybody else walking in has got kids around
dressed
them.
as princesses. A lot of princesses here.
And then everybody in the parking lot with kids and their parents.
Kids dressed up with mustaches and little berets like that. What's the one guy's name?
And then
the little beret mustache man.
The walrus.
Little kids dressed like a scientist walrus.
Jamie Heineman. Jamie Heineman and Adam Savage. So then we get there. And I'm like, well, maybe there's a couple kids. I understand, like science kids.
Yeah.
Like
kids like science.
It's not a rated R, show. So it's like, okay, there'd be some kids. And then we walked in by all kids.
And they do that thing. They do that thing like while you're waiting. They flick the light. There's no beer.
We left in the middle of it. And then Crystal's apologizing. I'm like,
I'm so sorry.
Just don't talk about it.
I like they do that move at all the kids stuff because they know it's kids. So Tom goes in there like to be a serious science demonstration. He sits down and then some guy dressed up like a beaker comes out. He's like,
hey, before we get started, the MythBusters have asked me if you guys can help them find their magnifying glass. It's hidden somewhere here in the Amway Arena. Is it on the left side? Or is it on the right side? Everybody say science!
It was a lot of that.
Oh, God, I wish I could have seen that.
That's when I realized I was watching a kid show the whole time. And I thought it was a serious scientist.
But a part of you, right? Hold on, tell me. This is me inside your mind. Okay, ready? This is me inside your mind. Part of you while you're watching it, you're like, hold on a second. This is for kids. Or is it? I better flush this out.
You might as well have been watching Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah.
She also, this lady has a new show out called Crash Test World, where she travels the world sharing stories of people working on solutions to the biggest challenges of our time.
Oh, that's cool.
That'll never last. Sorry, Carrie. I liked your big mouth, but the other show you tried to do with the other two guys that didn't last, and this won't last either. It's just too much.
There was the one guy.
There's too many. You went through all the myths. There was none left.
No myths left.
Show.
We have to invent new myths.
Yeah. Well, nowadays it's almost like those old wives' tales and urban legends don't really exist, or they're not as prevalent in society because they get busted too quickly. Like people just look them up on the phone.
Yeah.
It's.
I do it all the time on everybody's pages.
Yeah. Which is a a good thing, but also there's none of that anymore, which I used to enjoy. Like, oh, this isn't true. This myth isn't, it just,
but now you have myths, and then you have places to go to bust myths, but then you have people that don't believe the organization that is controlling the website that busts the myths. So like Snopes, for example, you can look up a lot of stuff on there that's, I'm not going to do it, but you can look up political stuff. You could also look up science stuff and like memes and like internet culture and stuff like that. But most people that I talk to, if you quote them, they go, no, you can't quote Snopes because they're owned by, I don't know, these liberals or this one's owned by these conservatives. And it's like, so
now it's all going out the window.
It was just easier when I was a kid. It'd be like, oh, what do you mean a guy has fingernails that are 27 feet long? Where do I find that? Oh, Guinness Book of World. Oh, there's a picture of him. His name is
It was
whatever.
a universal truth that people believed to be real. Like no one looked at Guinness Book World Records and, at least during our time, maybe they do now, but looked at it and be like, this is no way this is true. This is fake.
Yeah.
Like it was understood to be like, oh, this is
the
had a book.
Yeah,
it was in a book.
Yeah, but it was considered.
They trusted the Guinness organization to be like, there's people that vet this.
Well, it's reputation matter. There was integrity involved.
No. Reputation, integrity.
You know what? Make that cookbook, Tuna Daddy.
I mean, that's why holding your word. Like, think about it. It even trickles down to just being a human. Like, I was always raised to be a man of your word. Like that is your integrity. You are nothing if you're not your own word and your honesty.
I
right?
was not raised like that.
But I mean, like, but a lot of people aren't being raised like that now because, like, the people that we see, the influence that we have that's out there might go in a different direction. So,
and now there's a thing like these are my facts, or like there's different facts for different. It's like a fact. It doesn't mean the same as it did before. It's like,
and Juan's right. It's like he says Snopes and Wikipedia are known to and basically have to cite their sources, right? So you would think that would be enough for people to say, like, well, here's where we found it, here's the information, and this links to BBC, or this links to the New York Times or whatever. But then people go, no, we can't believe BBC, we can't believe New York Times. Well, then
who do we believe?
Thank you.
Well, that's an easy way.
I don't know. We'll flush it out.
Also, an easy way to destroy society if you really think about it. It's like start making everybody mistrust everything, and then it's like no longer a standard of truth or real or what they. Then it's like, well, that's scary.
The only people I trust.
If people won't accept that this is real and this is not, because there's no way. Like I don't trust this scientist or this person or this and then it's like, oh.
Yeah.
You got a problem. That's a problem because then now it's like, well, if there's no universal
then
truth,
nothing matters. Crazy.
Nothing matters.
Yep. Let's take a break. We'll come back and do more of A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here, and I know you set this up because you are a businessman. You are always flushing out the greatest... I can't not say it. You're always fleshing out the greatest ideas.
Sounds better. Fleshing out. It's
it's kind of gross.
Calm down, Weinstein.
Where
with the flesh in?
No flesh. Cover the flesh.
But
cover the flesh too.
So I'm constantly looking for good business deals here and there.
Well, you've accumulated a pretty sizable company here in the in the greater Central Florida area. You are known as a mover and a shaker.
But then,
a bit of an angel investor, if you will, and you're always looking for something fun to kind of dabble with your play money.
But with most entrepreneurs, which I regard myself as one of,
an entrepreneur.
They get bored sometimes.
Manure.
Once you build a successful business, the running of that business is boring to you. You're like, again, the same old thing. It's steady money coming in.
When we were working with a certain plumbing company early on, like 10 years ago, and we could tell that the owner, his day job, he was plumbing, but he didn't want to do plumbing. He wanted to do fashion. And that's where Tom's at. He doesn't want to do podcasting. He doesn't want to do broadcasting. He wants to maybe step outside decided that. Broaden his horizons.
I want to, diversify my business revenue and put my monies in different areas.
So go ahead, pitch me. You said you have a potential businessman on the line right now.
Yeah. He's going to be a future business partner of mine, because he's
our first
also
introduction to him.
He's also a businessman, and he's got good ideas.
He's a dreamer,
and way better than his brother.
Well, his brother is just a disgrace to the military. Dare I say a deserter?
And
stolen valor, a deserter, stolen valor.
It's the big Grizz never wanted to dive into any of my cockamamie ideas.
No.
He always called me an idiot. He's like, he called me an idiot for trying to start a podcast business. I throw that in his face.
Well,
He's like,
everybody
you're
did
lucky.
that. The Wizard was really hard on us. Actually, the Wizard was the hardest on it. He's like, oh, you guys are idiots. You're stupid. Go back to school like I did. Be in tons of debt.
Yeah, they said, this will never work. And now, mind you, they were right at the time.
They were right. They were absolutely
and
right.
everything about me and you should tell people this should never have worked. Never.
No.
But just like the Bug Assault, man, this has a theme. It's like sometimes you get lucky.
And to go
That's all it takes.
And to go back to the other theme is that Tom said this earlier on the show, like when he says, I don't care about anything, I don't.
Hey, if you don't got the education or the money or the intelligence or the charisma or the good looks or there's probably
the know-how, the elbow grease,
rely heavily on luck, and sometimes it works.
And you know what? You always need a little bit of cocaine.
So now the Grizz's brother,
Little
Grizz, he is my new focus because he has got the.
You got to focus on the future, not the past, Tom.
He's got the it factor when it comes to business.
Yeah.
Some people just have it.
He's the triple threat.
And you need an idea man. And the Grizz's brother's idea man, and I'm an idea man.
Yeah. Well,
two idea man.
Well, Lil Grizz is a triple threat, and what I mean by that is he will threaten your life 3 times.
So I'll walk you back. The first business idea that we were about to launch, it was close.
I thought we launched it because I invested $1,000 into Ice Mania.
Oh, that we lost that already.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's a good use right now, that $1,000.
Yeah. We printed a bunch of polos with Ice Mania on them, but they're too wide. They're all wide. We got Ice Mania hats.
Yeah, I have a hat that says Ice Crazy on it. And I also have a penguin suit that you bought because I was supposed to stand out there and dance.
We have 10,000 Lance Armstrong ice bands. Apparently, those are not as popular.
We just turned them inside out and wrote Ice Crazy on them, but they're yellow. If you turn them inside out, they say Live Strong, and it has that stigma now that we know he doped real bad.
We were so close on the Tom and Dan Ice Machine. And by the way, Kalen...
It's not dead, though, man. I mean, I got the Ice Machine.
I know.
Okay, explain the Ice Machine for the listeners that may be new to Cockamamie Schemes.
Here, I'm going to show the people on Twitch the picture of the Ice Machine because it's so good.
It's pretty amazing.
You don't understand how awesome that this...
it's an ice machine with like a stereo. It had like neon. I mean, the thing was like top tier.
Disco ball.
It had a disco ball. So when you go up there, your getting ice experience is elevated. It's better. Can you find it? We'll find it later. I can throw it up.
But it was a standalone ice machine. We're going to wrap in Tom and Dan. But is it still near Lake Okeechobee right now?
Yeah, it's in Lake Okeechobee. The park that it's in is shut down for COVID.
That's good for business.
Oh, man. When's the last transaction?
Oh, man.
I sold like 4 bags of ice in the past 4 weeks.
What a week.
That's detrimental.
It was doing really good before that, man. It was doing really good before COVID came and messed everything up.
There's probably some weasels living in it now, like a badger or something.
Yeah. And believe me, listen, we're going to put it in Sanford. I was going to have Mayor Triplett come out and for the ribbon cutting. Grizz's brother's going to wear a full tuxedo.
I was like, who let the ice out? Ice. Who let the ice out?
Ice, little Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna hire the supervillains to come play drink and drink.
Gonna go icing tonight.
We're gonna be icing tonight.
Paul is gonna be out there. He's trying to push it over. So the whole thing.
The butler will get up there late drunk. He's like, chicken in China, the Chinese chicken. Get yourself some ice and your boat starts tripping.
We're gonna have an ice webcam that every transaction was gonna take a picture for the ice machine social media.
Stupid ice.
and they were gonna have custom Tom and Dan ice bags. I'm telling you, this is
He did legitimately go through all this with
Now,
me and Butler.
some would say he's a dreamer. Others would say, you wasted the whole day.
Yeah, we had stuff to do, commercials to record.
I was telling Paul Williams and then all the businessmen about it, but they thought I was joking, so they just brushed me off.
Well, everybody thinks that. I mean, you're Orlando's walking joke.
I showed them the picture. I was like, look at the picture. It's real. And they're like, yeah. I gotta go.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll look at your meme later.
I was like, we need to, we need to get water run to it. Anyway. So,
by the way, that's the only thing you need.
So the ice machine still on the table. And I believe
it's not dead, man.
It's not dead. It will happen eventually because the Grizz's brother is. Aren't you half owner? I'm gonna have to go in business with some other shady guy right now.
No.
He's gonna eventually kill me.
Yeah.
It's not the guy from what is it? Tiger King with the bandana. Jeff Lowe.
No.
All right, but it's kind of like that.
It's a Russian with the other guy's a Russian with a deep V, and he's got a big, burly chest hair coming out.
I know you want ice. Hey, little Grizz, let me
buy ice.
Little Grizz, why are we only sold 4 bag ice during COVID? I know COVID fake. I know why. I know that in my country, we are the ones that made you scared of it. Election happened.
So now we've moved on from Ice Machine. Still on the back burner.
Temporarily.
But I got a text the other night.
Okay, walk me through the text that you got from Little Grizz.
This was a text that happened on
I love that you prepared for the segment, Tom.
Monday.
Well, his phone is cracked. You can't see through it.
He's scrolling a million miles a
His
minute.
thumbs are bleeding.
Here's how it starts. Monday, 8:20 p.m.
Okay.
The time where the best business ideas and text come.
I know what that's called. That's called second beer.
Yo! Exclamation
Yo!
point. I have an amazing idea for you. It starts with a 90-foot fire truck.
It starts with a 90 fire truck.
What does it end?
The options are endless. I'm thinking of buying it. We can. What can we do with it? Question mark. And then I text back, I'm in.
I like that the options are endless. I'm pretty sure they are endless.
So
there's only so much you can do with a 90
So
foot fire
show
truck.
everybody. This is like a 1970s fire truck.
Now, I started to brag to Crystal about how I was going to go and buy a 90-foot fire truck with you, in which she called me an idiot.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's no way that fire truck is 90 feet long. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It is. Kaylin told me so in the first text. She's like, you idiot. That's as tall as like a 10-story building. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. I guess it isn't that long. Then I was like, are you sure it's 90 feet, bro? And he's like, well, the ladder's 100 foot. And then I'm like, oh, see?
Yeah, but the ladder's retracted, you idiots. My God.
Anyway, but it has a 100-foot ladder.
There's a 100-foot ladder. I thought it was a 90-foot ladder.
Yeah. So the ladder's 90 foot.
You can't drive with a ladder down, guys. I don't think you can.
Now, where is...
You don't tell me what to do.
Oh, my God.
So...
Sounds just like his brother.
I gotta get out of here.
Now,
we're all just here to get out of here, Sam.
me and the Grizzlies brothers, we have long past. I used to take him to high school. I was a senior, and he was a freshman.
Ew.
And, I've told the story before. One time he waxed my whole truck and the windshield, and then when it started raining, one wiper, and it totally white, and we had to stick our head out like Ace Ventura. We were on the turnpike.
Yeah, every great businessman start with telling that inspirational story.
Younger man.
But wait a minute. Correction on that story. So TC used to say he was going to take me to high school or pick me up from high school every day. But But he literally ditched me 3 seconds before I got there every day. And I'm like, dude, what's up? He'd just be brown, just driving down the road right past me.
Well, I had to pick up Fernando and.
Well, why wouldn't you pick up? Why wouldn't you pick up Grizz first?
Well, if he wasn't outside waiting, we just zoomed past his house. He had to be out there waiting,
man.
And then sometimes we do the move where we go to open the car and we drive forward a little bit.
And you hate it when your wife does that to you.
Yeah. Well, bullying is fun. So anyway, tell me about this fire truck. It's from the 1970s, and you said it's fully functional. Now, what are we talking price-wise, and where is it? And, give me some details here.
Give us the deets.
We'll flush this out right on the air.
Yep.
So, it's actually a 100-foot ladder. It's like the second largest fire truck in the state of Florida.
All right.
Amazing.
Cool.
You know?
Wait, we could put that on the side of it. Second largest fire truck in Florida.
The best number 2.
Yeah.
But I came across it. My cousin owns it. He bought it because he was going to start a barbecue business, so he tried to get a small fire truck, like the old one that he could cut the tank in half and have the fire pit in the back.
Man, this
he bought
is
it on
small
auction
people
by
stuff.
accident, not realizing it's the wrong fire truck.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was originally going to be a barbecue fire truck.
Barbecue food truck.
Barbecue food truck.
Bingo, bingo, bongo.
Which is already a better idea than I had.
You know what? Just like Shark Tank, I'm going to have to be the first one that says, I'm listening to everything you're saying, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck, but I'm out because I know I'm but minutes away from wearing a tiny pig costume and driving a fire truck around Orlando. So I'm going to have to respectfully decline.
There'll be a photo shoot where you're dancing in fire.
Yeah, I've got sunglasses on. Oh, yeah. You know?
They're like, we're the fire dancers. So it didn't work out, but now they have the second largest fire truck in the state of Florida, and it's sitting in your uncle's backyard. Now
It's just rusting in his uncle's backyard.
Now, does it run at all? Like, can you get in it and
Of course
drive
it
it?
doesn't.
Yeah, it starts up. It's it needs a couple tires.
No.
Wait, it doesn't have tires.
It runs. Need some tires?
Fire truck tires are one tire.
You can't even get them used.
Hold on, I got to look that up.
I go to Lopez Tire over here. He'll give me some fire truck tires. He'll give me some retread fire truck tires, no problem.
I'll just take it off my trailer,
I mean, I'm on SimpleTire.com, a Yokohama RY587, just one tire is $400. That's not that bad.
That's brand new. We're not going to buy anything brand new.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, what do you think? We're not fools over here. My God.
Oh, some of these are like $700.
Now, most
$1,200.
Does the water cannon work?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, this wouldn't even be a conversation. Like, that was the first thing I asked.
I knew you were the businessman that I am.
If you're thinking like I'm thinking, Lil Grizz, why did you want the water cannon to work?
So actually, even though this is a cockamamie scheme, but I mean, I work in construction, so the last couple of construction companies I worked for, they pay water trucks to come out just to water the yards. And they pay like $200 an hour just for this truck to show up. So I actually was looking at it for like 4 or 5 construction sites to go water the yard down because they can't have that much dust come up.
Yeah, keep the dust out.
Construction site.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And would they pay?
I mean, that was.
And I'm thinking they'd pay extra. Imagine if the party truck comes.
Yeah, well, it's half food truck, half water truck. While we're watering your site, you're getting a bite. Come on!
Yeah, then all the people from the construction site, they come out while we're blasting the water hose.
Yeah, and you're putting everything down. You got some cute girls out there handing out sandwiches and Gatorades.
Yeah. Like we'll just go to 7-Eleven and buy as many taquitos and Mountain Dew as possible.
Yeah.
That's what they like, right? You're in construction.
Yeah, Mountain Dews and taquitos, right?
For sure.
Famous Amos, Grandma cookies. Everybody knows it.
We'll sell those at the back.
Accurate.
You got to get Famous Amos, Grandma, some of those Lance peanuts.
Funyuns.
Yeah. A lot of Rockstar and Monster energy
Pork
drinks.
rinds. Don't forget the pork rinds.
Yeah.
But that'll be on one side, but the other side will be Rap Tom and Dan. And for events, when eventually we can start doing events again, The party truck will come.
All right.
We'll
Beer
roll up.
fest.
We'll hire some bikini models to stand in a line.
All the bikini models come down. They're wearing full fire brigade gear.
Yeah.
They take
I already
off-
got the brigade here. Porno Joe said he'll give me as much bunker gear as I need.
I love it. He's stealing from Miami's fire department.
And he said, you want bunker gear? I got it. So we got that covered and legitimate
So
helmets.
We're stealing legitimate riot gear from a Miami.
Bunker gear.
Yeah, it's fine. Bunker gear for Miami. So we got the girls. They take off their gear.
Yeah.
Then I'm guessing me dressed as a barbecue pig. I blast their bikini tops off.
Yeah.
Let the party begin.
No,
and then we raise.
We raise the boner ladder, and then
like what do you play there?
I mean, there's a. I'm thinking Kid Rock ball with the ball. There's a variety of different songs.
Well, you could pick the song. How about that?
Linkin Park.
You could play some Hoobastank. Right? You can put a little bit of that.
Nothing really matters.
Yeah.
They'll play some 90s.
Yeah, maybe.
Or that 2000.
Oh, you mean like Metallica?
No.
That was Linkin Park.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I mean, Linkin Park.
Oh, okay.
So, let's get down to business.
Play some Trapped Headstrong.
What?
Oh, God, that guy.
What will your uncle take for this fire truck? Because
He probably wants you to get off his property, right?
we already have the business plan recorded. I'm going to take this, and then we'll take the audio.
Well,
of
I
this.
mail the MP3 to myself.
Yeah. We'll mail it to ourselves.
That's how you know I'm a 21st century digital boy.
Then I'll send it out to the richest people I know to see if I can get investments. I'll send it to Craig from Power Spot, Matt Norman from.
I already
Jesse
know he's
from
a no.
Jesse from
No,
Odang is
100%.
coming over today, and I'll tell him about it.
Oh God,
poor
Jesse.
And so I got some backers here that got some real dollars they could put into this. So
I'm sure a couple grand buys this thing.
a couple grand. All right.
Wait, 2 G's?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, she doesn't want it at all. She's like, just come pick it up. You can have it. So
I
I'm
told
sure
you.
$3 to $5 grand probably buys this thing.
Now, in a world where scrap metal is like one car is like worth $400 in scrap metal, I imagine a 5.5 ton fire truck with just in scrap metal alone would be worth thousands.
That's
right?
a lot. My God.
How much is it going to cost to
Options
insure
are
this
endless.
thing?
Oh, we don't need insurance.
Oh.
No, I don't need insurance.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't crash it or don't have
What if we fill the tank with...
If Party Pig dies on it, we'll just put his body in the woods.
Did you call me Party Pig?
No, that's a character's name.
So I'm playing the part as Party Pig.
Correct.
Playing the part of Party Pig.
Yeah. I mean, you're just like a firefighter pig.
Go with that great big pin in the sky. Just kick me in the woods.
Yeah, but like anybody hurts
What
themselves.
are you dressed as, Tom?
Well, just put me on the edge of the woods and then use the fire hose to blow my body through the trees.
I'm basically like I'll have bunker gear pants, suspenders, a no shirt.
Yeah.
Kind of like I'll take extra doses of Adderall, so I'll try to get as ripped as possible. Then Oakley blades, and I'll
a mustache.
Joe told me he could teach me how to drive it because he's like.
Do you have to have the guy in the back that drives the ass?
Oh yeah. Does it have an ass?
Like all
steering wheel?
Mickey. Yeah, I like
How's
it
it go?
when Mickey Mouse would drive the front and then Goofy would drive the back. You know.
Yeah. Look how big this thing is. Like, are you sure this thing is 1970s? The front of it looks like a 1950s.
Yeah, it might be a rare classic that you need to donate to the Florida Firefighters Museum.
Yeah.
I have no clue how old it is. I haven't asked that question.
I feel like you don't know a lot about the actual truck
That's why
itself.
Tom likes
Well,
it.
he climbed around it and showed me the pictures. It's spider
Got blood all
Spider
over.
crazy?
Spider-ness crazy.
Oh my God, I'm not getting on that truck.
Well, you're out of the party squad. I guess Party Pig's not blowing your top off.
So we can get it for a couple grand. I know I got the line on getting it wrapped. What does it run off, diesel or regular gas? Do you know that?
I know, like I said, I know zero other
I told
than
you.
the fact that the hose runs, it turns on, needs some tires, and then the prices are endless. The options are
Yeah, the prices are endless.
Like
All right, $50,000 into this fire truck.
I'm in already.
I'm in too. I like the idea.
We'll figure out.
And we can keep it behind my house. They'll love it around here.
We'll flush out the details.
We'll do it.
Hey, Kalen, did you? Okay. When I say
he's going to get serious for a second.
When I say flush out the details, do you find anything wrong with that?
No.
That's why my business. That's my business partner. He knows.
I thought Dan was the business partner.
That's not what we need to do. We need to figure out, what we could do with it that's amazing, and then we.
Yeah, that's called fleshing out the details.
Well, I just wanted to make sure. This.
Flush. We're not taking a poop.
I just want to make sure he's not a spy and he's secretly,
Who is this line tap? So you would say.
Test.
So you would say flush out the details, not flesh out the details.
Did you? Yeah. Well, don't get nervous because I didn't know that it's actually flesh out the details and not flush, and I've been saying it wrong for as long as I've been living.
He did look at his watch.
Dead, by the
I've
way.
been saying it wrong for at least 17
That
minutes.
means you're dead if your watch is dead.
I looked at my watch and black screen. Didn't say anything.
Even it's out. It doesn't even want to be a part of this fire truck scam.
And then I just pretended what time it was.
Why do you do that to yourself?
All right, Kalen. We're
Thanks
gonna,
for the time.
We're
man.
gonna
It was
do
fun
this.
Talking to you.
Find out some more details of the fire truck, and
we love a good, funny idea, man. We'll see if we can make something happen.
And then and let me know when that Okeechobee Marina's open because I want to give a prize to the first person to get a bag of ice from
from Ice Ice Crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's back open.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, beginning of the call, it was closed.
Right.
Making things happen. We're either making
Within
things
this
happen
call, it opened.
or he knows nothing.
All right, Kalen. I'll talk to you soon. We got another business meeting planned for Thursday night. I'll be
God.
extra high, so just be ready.
Yeah.
That's where all my ideas come from.
Bring the White Claw, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, see
Be
you,
good. See you.
Later.
Later, man. He sounds just like Grizz. It's crazy.
He's more fun than the Grizz. Like I
Wow.
said, the Grizz. Now he's got 2 kids. He's
You have 2 kids.
The
he's
Grizz?
an engineer.
The
I know,
Grizz.
but he lost his fun.
The Grizz
I
is
didn't lose
almost responsible now because, here's where you knew he changed. Even, more than a year ago or whenever, way more than a year ago when we did because, God, we haven't had a vacation in forever. But when we all hung out at the Champions Gate,
Oh, yeah.
Grizz would go around outside and clean up. And I was
Yeah,
like...
He did fight his brother that
he
night.
did.
And
but
then,
he showed signs of maturing. He would go, the girls would be like, are you guys going to clean up? And I'm already passed out. And Tom's like, well, Bovada, we're watching World Cup or whatever. And Grizz is outside helping clean up. And
He's
I'm
a nice guy.
he's a wonderful guy, but he's changed.
He got full gray hair now.
He's had that for a while.
The old professor. And he lost his fun. The Grizz used to be ride or die. He'd be down for anything.
Oh, he wouldn't set foot in that fire truck.
But now the Grizz's brother, that's the new, is my new friend. That's ride or die.
All right, well, let me
Down
know
for
when
anything.
we're going to do this.
right.
We do have to take a break. We'll take one, come back with more. A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this. It is another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Butler is in the other room. Sam, how is your coral-colored mermaid hair holding up? Is it mermaid hair or sort of mermaid?
They call it fantasy colors.
Ooh la la.
So, using a lot of dry shampoo, and I'm waiting for my overtone colored conditioner to come in.
It
but
looks
it's supposed
really
to come
good.
this weekend.
I miss being able to make my hair. Oh, I guess I could.
could.
Just make my hair
You
crazy
don't have
colors.
anyone to answer to.
My
besides your wife.
daughter started doing it. She started spraying this violet and glittery hairspray in her hair. It's already starting with her with the knickknacks and the makeup and the hair stuff. And
Yeah.
It's funny how that stuff just kind of happens on its own, organically and fast, like lightning fast. Do you see that with the boys gravitating to things that you're like, whoa. Okay.
They have no interest in that kind of stuff. I mean, they just play, with their action figures
Right.
and their G.I.
It's
Joes.
just so weird,
and their,
right?
Yeah. And
I've never indoctrinated that. I've never been like, oh, these are your toys. It's really just, it's got to be like her friends and television and just societal impressions, or influence rather.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird how that lines up. But anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. TomandDan.com for all things Tom and Dan. Let's jump into some voicemails and some emails because, man, we got a lot of them. So, Sam, do you got an email you can throw at me while I pull up some of these audios?
All right. Keep it weird. Hey, crew. I just wanted to give you a shout out and let you know you are helping keep a lot of us deviants smiling in an unprecedented and scary time. I'm doing okay with my job, so I threw a $100 donation your way since I knew advertisers are feeling the hurt right now, and I want to make sure Sam can still pay for her house and Mr. Baloney has enough medicine money. Love the show. Keep it up.
There you go.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we got a lot of those from folks that are like, look, we kind of know our lane and what we're supposed to try to execute. And Tom was very candid with you and honest about when COVID and everything starts. Sometimes it can be hard for us to even get the engine cranked up. It can be because you don't know what to say. You don't know what to do.
Well, also, no one knew exactly how this was going to flesh out. And with, how badly is it going to affect the economy?
Sure.
What's going to be the outcome?
We still don't know in some instances.
Of all this unemployment, you don't know. So you kind of batten down the hatches and you're like, well, we'll put out a call to the BDM, see if they can help, even things out. And they did, and we're going to be fine. And luckily, we didn't have to, take any sort of business loan or anything because our business wasn't as affected as other ones. So we were lucky in that regard. And really, it was because of the listeners.
I mean, Butler wanted us to take as many loans as humanly possible, even though we didn't need them.
Yeah, he told us all the loans.
But we talked about it. They're like, what are you doing taking all this money from people that actually need it? We're actually we're okay. No. We got to get it all.
Yeah. Butler
and I don't know what we're going to do with all this toilet paper that I have in the office. I mean, it's like a mountain of it.
Take more than you need. Yeah. That's a slogan.
That's his motto.
Yeah. Take it all.
His email is Travis@takeitall.com. He doesn't even work for us. He's in there. He's probably banging on the fish tank. What was I going to tell you guys? It was I went and got what phase are we on today? Today's Friday. So we're on phase 2. Can you look that up, Sam, so I know exactly what phase 2 means?
I think it's at bars and movie theaters.
Yeah, all of those can be up to 50%. And I think restaurants are now going to be at 100%?
Really?
Right? Hold on, let me read. Just
went to a restaurant for the first time last night.
You did it?
Okay, you hopefully I inspired you.
Yeah, well, I'm
kidding. I don't inspire anyone.
Mainly because the kids, the boys were over at my mom's house, and then so when I got home, Crystal was like, let's go out to the restaurant and see what that's like. So
I hope you had the experience that I had.
We went back and forth, and then we chose the Outback.
And, fancy.
And only because it was on the way.
They only serve premium Australian beef.
And then I laughed about having the future conversation, like, how'd you get COVID? I had to go to Outback. I couldn't stay away.
Now I'm on this ventilator, but I had to blame it on you.
It was so important that I ate at Outback. Anyway.
Good for you. Hope that walkabout soup tasted good.
It was fine. And I felt bad for the server because, there's
Biscayne shrimp.
There was barely anybody in there. I'm like, man, these people are probably struggling because now not only do they have to wear a mask all day, and I felt bad for them. I'm like, God, it must suck to work at a job you have to wear a mask the whole day because it's uncomfortable and pain in the ass. And then you're working at.
Could you wear a face shield instead?
I've seen some people wearing the face shield.
If they let you, because I feel like here's where face shield
more aggressive though.
No. See, I disagree. Face shield to me allows the smile.
Yeah, you can see full facial expression.
You can see the smile. With the mask, I don't know
what's going on.
I have to listen to you to catch your vibe. But if you have the clear face shield on, our barber, he switched from mask to clear face shield. And it was a lot nicer being able to see his face. nice.
Yeah.
You know, because you can have a full conversation. But I understand what you're saying, because it is more aggressive by
Well, you're comparing it to like riot gear.
It kind of looks like riot gear, which, you know, let's all be honest, you know, right now that's top of mind as well. You know, people are spicy and they have reason to be. So
it's also a little more medical with the face shield. Like it reminds you more of a medical scenario than you know, like the regular cloth black mask or whatever the hell, you know.
And how are you gonna fit your walkabout hat on if you got a face shield on?
So bars and pubs may operate at 50% capacity inside and full capacity outside with appropriate social distancing. Retail establishments may be open at full capacity with responsible social distancing. Gyms may operate at full capacity with appropriate. So a lot of things are going to full capacity as long as they, quote, have responsible social distancing in place.
Okay, stupid question for both you guys. You guys tell me what to do. I'm in, let's say, a department store or a grocery store, and I'm walking someplace, and there are people shopping. They have masks on, and they're standing in the middle of the lane. Do I wait until they move out of my way to go past them on the aisle so they give me room, or do I just kind of go and scooter? Like normally I would just walk around them, no big deal.
You're supposed to, technically you're supposed to keep the distance and wait. But no one's, I haven't seen a lot of people following any of those rules.
That's real hard, though, because people just
I did, and my husband shamed me.
Well, people just want to stand.
Well, yeah, one guy was just standing down the aisle just staring at products, and I needed what was right in front of him, but I'm like, let me not get in his space.
Right.
But then my husband's like, what are you doing? Just grab it. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to be follow the rules here.
Yeah.
And then my husband just went and grabbed it.
I think it's basically just be cool, be nice, cordial to other people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, don't be a D-head. But it's
you think,
you're not.
You think a lot of this stuff
fine.
would be common sense, but it's just not.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess everybody's different.
Yeah.
I will give you a voicemail. Let's go with this one right here.
What's going on, T&D Media? Concrete Mike. Hey, I was listening to Wednesday's Weird Job Wednesday on ACT, and that was a great segment, by the way. Y'all were led into that by talking about watching, like, true crime and all that, and I used to get into all that stuff, but I stopped watching it after I found out that two people I knew from growing up had been murdered and ended up being a episode of that said show, or it might not have been true crime, but it was one of them. And it was kind of disturbing finding out years later that people I knew growing up had been, like, viciously murdered.
Oh, my God.
It was crazy. But, anyway, go have a good day.
That's the type of story that will turn your hands to stone. Concrete Mike checking in. He's the realest man we know. He has another voicemail that he left immediately following this one that I'll save for the Friday Free Show that you can listen to right now. Just go to TomandDan.com. It's probably one of the most aggressive voicemails I have ever heard. And he is nonchalant. He's all business, no big deal, Mike.
All right.
He goes for it. And, check that out on the show.
God, what are the chances that you're watching one of these shows about like murder and like solving it, and then it's someone you end up knowing or knew from the past? Like that's got to be statistically next to zero, right?
Yeah. I mean, you would think
crazy.
so, but I mean, every city, that's. It's funny because like even on the different cop shows and true crime, I mean, normally it's going to be on television. They're going to focus on one particular city, like in Atlanta or Tulsa, something like that. And I guess once you know, or once that's your area, it becomes a lot of a tighter and smaller community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I don't think Orlando's ever been on one of the, I mean, I'm sure they have, but not.
Well, it depends on what you're talking. If you're talking murder only, I mean, there have been tons of specials on like Casey Anthony and
terrible
or disappearances like Jennifer Kessie and stuff like that. So, I mean, Orlando's a hotbed for crime.
We've had our fair. Well, we're a destination, and the weather's good, and that's it's funny. The number of books that I've casually wandered upon where you get a mention of the person in the book who is a villain or a crime boss or somebody moving to Florida to get away is like, it's almost like a stereotype.
Oh, yeah.
And it must have been back in the day, right?
Well, yes, and it's a we have good weather year round. It attracts a lot of deadbeat dads, across the country. They'll just escape to Florida. Of course, the old people that come down here because it's warm all the time. But seems like it's a little bit like America's Mexico, kind of, where you go to escape the regular America.
Yeah, well, it's tropical. It's got a tropical
Go
vibe.
down to that weird finger at the bottom.
Yeah, well, some people don't call it a finger, but okay.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's the closest that, and I think in people around the country's mind, to escaping the general United States of America, go down to Florida, that's where we all go to escape.
Yeah, no, I agree
something like that.
I agree with you 100%. And a lot of it has to do with sunshine and the weather and stuff like that. People also don't know that it rains like crazy here. People also don't know how hot it is here.
Well, before centralized AC, it was absurd to live down here, and we're talking in the 20s and 30s and stuff, before that was readily available. Sure. And you came down here for the good weather, but in the summertime, spring and summer, it was unbearable. You'd have to live near the coast where you always get in the breeze or something, because it was impossible. Then AC made it where climate controlled.
Yeah, we can live here. I remember going to camp though and staying in cabins with no AC. And I remember as a kid, it really wasn't that bad, but as you get older, and dare I say, I'll point at myself, fatter, you understand that it's just not, that ain't gonna work.
You could do it in the winter.
Well, if
fall,
it's all you do,
spring,
or also if it's all you do,
if you're conditioned,
if you're dedicated to it, I think after a while, how long do you think it would take you of living in the elements to get used to it to the point where you wouldn't complain, or you wouldn't be soft anymore?
During hurricanes, when you have long stints of not having power, it's interesting because from going through so many hurricanes here, it's right after the hurricane, there's usually 2 days of decent weather where you convince yourself I could do this, no power, no big deal. And it's because it sucks the moisture out. Usually when the hurricane comes through behind it.
That first day after it rolls is great.
Yeah. Then
you're picking up sticks, you're having a cold beer, you're this isn't that bad.
Then 4 days after, then we go back into traditional Florida swamp and humidity, and then
that hot on wet.
You're God, I'm dying.
I didn't grow up with central AC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it wall units?
Yeah, just in the bedroom.
Yeah. Then some people
I can remember
are very poor.
I can remember it being so cold. I'd have to call my mom. I can remember it being so cold because it seems like when I was a kid, it used to get colder and it used to snow and stuff. It snowed in Jacksonville, my dad would say. I feel like anybody that thinks that we have not done any damage at all to our planet, you're insane to me, because I know for a fact just by living. Because I remember my mom, and man, I'd call her, but she's at the doctor's right now. I remember getting up and it being so cold that I was wearing double pajamas.
Oh my
God. And I remember
God.
my dad outside meeting the man that had to put oil in some tank to make our heat run because we didn't have any.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the middle of the blanking night, and the truck's out there,
crazy.
and they're like, dun, 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 dun. No, we didn't have any. That's why I'm wearing every,
we had one space heater.
I didn't have a coat.
Have the oven open? You ever have that move?
No.
Heat up the house with the oven?
But I know we had to call the oil man in the middle of the night, and he had to dump the oil, because I remember the tank. That's why I always laugh when you talk about Max's room and how the propane's on the side of his room or whatever. Same thing with me. The gas tank for the heater was on my side of the house, and you could hear it. They were out there, and I remember being scared. I also remember not understanding. I was like, oil? They're going to set the house on fire? Is that how we're going to be warm? As a kid,
burn it all down.
As a kid, when you hear things like, "Oh, we're getting gas," well, gas is fire. That's not good. That could blow us up, especially if you're a paranoid little kid like me.
Down in Miami, it was just always hot, but it did you had maybe 1 week of where it got to like
Cool.
in the 50s.
Yeah.
And then it was like it was like, oh my God, we could wear a hoodie. But it did. It seemed like there was colder stints longer when I was a kid. Like every once in a while, you get a cold Christmas, and that was a rarity.
I couldn't tell you the last time we've had one of those, man. I'm sure we have in recent years, at least in the last 10 years, but I can't remember one.
Such a difference between like South Florida and Central Florida weather-wise. Just in that, 250 miles does make a damn difference.
Yeah, but it makes a huge difference. Let's try. Did I do a voicemail or did you do it?
You did a voicemail.
All right, all you.
All right, Amazon Prime question. I've listened for years as a Poro and finally signed up as a BDM. When all this COVID nonsense started, I wanted to help any way I could to keep you guys running because you provided me with hours of free entertainment forever. Anywho, my wife decided to go back to school recently and found out she gets Amazon Prime at a discount rate as a student. I've heard you mention you guys get a little something from Amazon if people have Prime, but I can't for the life of me remember the details. I know you said it doesn't cost members a thing, but Amazon tosses you a few bucks a month. Can you please let me know what I need to do to help get you guys that little bonus? Thanks for everything.
Yep,
yeah, it's really nice of you to ask.
Can you walk them through, Daniel? Because I honestly don't know 100% of the details.
The easiest way to do it, if you already have our app, then and I'll do it. I'll do it right here. You can click on. It opens up. The app will open up, and you're going to get probably like right now. I just got a Streamline Mortgage Solutions ad, so you can click that if you want to refi. A lot of people are doing that right now, so you can use the ad. Then you'll see a screen that pops up that says Live Fridays at 2 p.m. That's true. We go live on Twitch, but we also go live just about every day around 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you click live on Fridays. It'll load up a Twitch page. And then all you have to do is
the Twitch app.
You do need the Twitch app. You just got to download the Twitch app. They'll work in conjunction with each other, like they talk to each other. And if you have Prime, you already basically have a Twitch account. You can hit the Prime button, kind of fill out some details there. Boom.
Where is that? Like if someone goes on the Twitch app, if you search Tom and Dan Live,
it's better to do it from a computer to subscribe.
Okay.
Yeah, you would go to twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, and you'll see a subscribe button.
And then where is the subscribe button?
I can't see it because I'm in there right now.
It's right at the top right of the screen.
It'd be top right-hand side.
And then if you hit that subscribe button, does it ask you for your like Amazon Prime email and password?
It will probably want you to log in or something, but trust me when I tell you, super easy, and it will cost you nothing. And then you can watch the show whenever you'd like. You'll get notifications and when we go live, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, but that's the subscription that Amazon gives us $3 a month. Now, the only thing that kind of stinks is obviously every month you kind of have to resubscribe because, of course, Amazon's not going to like just out forever. They hit it, they did it once, and so it's one of those things you got to. But if you're in Twitch watching it, it's just it'll pop back up. And
it's the coolest. I mean, like when you do that for us, and when you opt in every month, believe me, it helps us out. It lets us buy new equipment like Fishcam. Fishcam, you guys bought. I don't know if you know that, but we had to buy a camera in the midst of everybody trying to double down on broadcasting from their home. We paid about double.
We had to buy it from eBay.
It was like $175. It's only a $70 camera, so we were eating the markup. But you guys paid for that. Well, there was no way that we would have Fishcam at all without you guys subscribing on Twitch. That's a fact. We had to buy another $100 cable so we could run it through the ceiling. Something I'll be working on this weekend, I believe, for Fishcam. It's definitely cool, and we appreciate you guys doing it. Let's try this one. I think you're going to like this one, T.
Hey, guys. Y'all have talked occasionally about how Tom hasn't played a video game in a long time, and it's probably been since the old Tony Hawk days that he played. But Dan still plays video games, and so likely his daughter will be very into video games, and Tom's kids at least won't care until all the neighborhood kids do, and by then Tom probably won't know how to play any of their games.
Well, that's how I was.
I was wondering if Tom saw that they are remastering Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and so he could get that for his boys and teach them how to do some sick manuals or something.
I'm really excited about that.
Aren't your kids already into video games?
Oh,
Were they playing
they
games
love video
today?
games, but I think this gentleman means like console video games.
Yeah.
And newsflash to anyone, look, I give Tom some crap about it, but I was raised exactly like Tommy and Max. I was not allowed to, there was no gaming system in my house. That was not a thing. And if there was, it was only something that I was able to do with my mom and dad.
Yeah.
When I got a Genesis, the Sega Genesis, I mean, I was older. You know what I mean? Like, I went a very, very long time with no video game system. My mom was a teacher. She's an educator. She didn't want that crap in there. She wanted books and stuff like that. My first video game was Math Blaster. My mom was a teacher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still have Math Blaster, by the way. If anybody has an Apple IIc and you want the floppy disks, I got them.
I
think
think
that's worth anything.
That we're probably going to end up getting a Nintendo Switch.
Norm played Math Blaster in the Twitch chat room.
Oh, really?
It was fun. I mean, but, when you're bad at math like I am, it's not that fun.
And I think we're going to get one and play as a family, like a Mario Kart or whatever, but then
You'll
just
love it.
Limit it to like once a week.
That's exactly what we do. No, that's exactly what we do. We just limit the time that they have it, and the Switch is a lot easier to control than any other gaming system, I think.
Because that's where we found out, because we just realized that Max is so obsessed, or he gets so obsessed with the games that we get scared that how obsessed he gets. You know what I'm saying? So then we, especially Crystal, she's like, I'm scared that this is all he's going to be thinking about, because he does that with like his...
she's correct in thinking that happens to people.
And that's all he wants to do.
That happens to adults, dude.
And so when he thinks about it, he's like, can I play? Like but if we section it to just one day a week, like, hey, you can only do this on Saturdays, they do. Like, I didn't believe that worked. Like, Crystal, I was like, no, it's all or nothing. But the kids, they will, like, if they know it's this only day, they'll be like, okay, and they'll accept it, and then they'll wait, and they'll count down the days and be like, is today the day? No, it's like Saturday. But
also gives you something to look forward.
They'll understand the rules.
It also it gives you something to look forward to. I mean, it gives you like a little something. Plus, books and creative play or imaginative play is certainly better in my eyes. You got to have
for
both.
the brain development.
You got to have both. Like, there's nothing that is more musical to my ears, and you know how sensitive of a cat I am, is when I listen to Maisie doing character voices with her dolls.
Imagination,
when I'm just listening to that, I mean, I let her do that for hours. Please do that for hours. I love it. You got another email, Sam? We'll just do another email, one more voicemail.
Hey, everybody. Long time listening, first time emailer. You guys talking about Dan's stress gut really got me thinking about my own IBS. Back when I used to commute from UCF to Disney, I would have days where I would have to get off I-4 and find a McDonald's bathroom to spray because I would stress out over possibly being late for work. A few months in, a coworker introduced me to Real Radio, which led me to your podcast. Listening to you guys for the last couple years, I've noticed my need to go while driving is now a rarity. Being a BDM is the cheapest IBS medication on the market.
Distracted yourself.
So I am distracting.
So then you're not worrying about the time anxiety
we're
of
solving
being late.
America's diarrhea.
Yeah, we solve. Look, America's. Wait, what is it? Dunkin' Donuts? America's running off Dunkin'. What is I say? Tom and Dan, we'll stop your doo-doo. Or no, we'll dry you up. We got to do better than that. Flush it out. No. Tom and Dan got diarrhea? You don't anymore.
So
I don't like that one.
You're saying that you used to be nervous about being late, so that nerves would give you IBS, leading to the McDonald's.
So he
spray.
got diarrhea from time anxiety, but listening to us calms him down,
or
That's what it sounds
distracts him from thinking about how he's going to be late. It's funny because even Max uses distraction, like when he got scared of that watermelon video he watched. He said my tummy hurts
because it does.
Right.
That's why do you think my stomach's always like my anxiety? Controls my digestive tract, man.
It's connected. And we realized he was saying his tummy hurt, but it was just like some
anxiety
sort of
manifested.
anxiety or like him being scared. it manifests into a weird stomach pain.
Like somatoform. You take whatever you're dealing with, and it gives you some sort of aches or pain somewhere else.
And then he'll say like my tummy started to hurt, but then I started playing video games or distracted myself with painting.
He just wants video games.
And then and then it felt better. So in his mind, distraction.
Video games is medicine.
But he's right, because if I have a high anxiety day, Andrea will tell me, "Why don't you go play video games and relax?" So there is some truth to both sides. You just don't want to become addicted to it, or love it more than you love anything in the world,
or use it as that's the only solution to the problem is distraction.
Correct.
Like sometimes you have to look at your problem or why you're scared and solve it rather than distracting yourself. The distraction is just the easy way to temporarily solve this diarrhea you have.
Agreed.
But I appreciate you listening, sir.
Yeah, it's and I'm glad you don't have diarrhea anymore, because that's no way to live your life. We'll close with this guy.
Oh, he must have. He must have been really nervous in the past couple months, because not now, but like a month ago, they didn't have bathrooms open. You could just pop in and use, right?
Yeah.
That was a problem. Like,
that was a thing.
You couldn't just use the random
truck drivers
gas
were having a really hard time.
Yeah,
well, that's not fair. I mean, they're bringing us food and stuff. You got to have something. Put a porta potty out there. Or at least relax the rules, like where they can just go wherever they want.
They couldn't go through drive-thrus either, because they couldn't. Normally they park their truck outside and they go in, but nobody was letting them in.
Oh,
yeah, it was bad.
Do they have drive-thrus specifically engineered anywhere for 18-wheelers?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like if I could just dial down what they like to eat the most, like a menu. If I pared down a quick-serve menu that specialized on what guys that drive 18-wheelers like to eat, and gals, and that I made my building accessible for them to zip right through and safe, so they can get their loads down the road and get some food, would I make some money? Is that a viable idea?
Well, possibly.
You put it on like the turnpike, you put it on I-4, and it's only for truckers.
Yeah.
They can go, they can drive through and buy food. They can use, like, we have a shower, a place for you to freshen up.
Well, it would have to be for everybody.
No.
But truckers could use it. There's
Just
not
truckers.
enough business
Only
just for truckers.
I am on thetruckersreport.com.
Oh, there's a lot of, she'll give you this, and that girl does this on there, too, I bet.
And it's just, random truckers answering this man's question. And it seems like there's just like a few scattered throughout. So this guy says there's at least 2 McDonald's in northern Minnesota that have drive-thrus for big trucks. They even have a raised platform so they can walk out and deliver your order at window height.
That's dope.
That is cool.
I just think
they should have more though.
Yeah, I just think like it would be safer for them than having to park their truck somewhere. You know what always sucks is when you see them get off and they're in this tiny little area that's just made for us to get hamburgers, and they're trying to just get something to make it better.
Although
they got those ramps that stop them when they go out of control in Colorado, and you just go down the dirt ramp to slow your truck so you don't die.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you can put a big drive-through on it.
It seems like they're moving more towards automation, which sucks for a lot of truck drivers. Now,
I don't trust it.
I mean, we're a long time away from full automation, but man, there's like Tesla, and there are a bunch of other electric semi, plans to have like basically fully automated semi trucks that are longer, but just nonstop go. They recharge themselves in different stations, and and that seems like it'll probably be the future. Like if no one had to pay trucker salaries, plus you didn't have to have them wait or take rests or whatever. It's just like and there'll probably be, and maybe in the future, lanes just for those trucks, so they just nonstop can deliver goods.
You kind of hit the nail on the head with the lanes just for those trucks, because I always kind of thought, like even when I was like a younger kid and reading like fantasy novels or comic books and stuff like that, I always thought that we would eventually get like an autonomous way to deliver cargo, but I never really thought it would be on the same roads as ours. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, like a series of like computer-run subway systems that just move food, but it's underground, and it's just tunnels with long ass, I mean mega trains in them that just move product.
yeah. Food.
I always thought
distribution,
we'd have
yeah.
something like that underground, and then we'd keep the roads above ground because the mix is what always freaks people out, right?
Yeah,
but here we are, so we'll figure something out.
I'm sure they've thought about it. I mean, like Elon Musk's Hyperloop and stuff. That's all underground, and like the technology to build that tunnel apparently is pretty good.
It's
like they have these
insane
tunneling machines and stuff. So you're right. It seems like you could. The only problem is,
but we already have the infrastructure.
You
now.
have like the so it's like you'd have to dump so much into revamping.
Well, you don't
what's
have
already there.
the track.
Yeah.
You're starting from scratch. Whereas here, we already
Dig the
have
tunnels,
a series of roads.
Plus, you'd have a problem in Florida with our water table, and
I don't think you could do it.
Yeah. It seems like maybe only in the middle of the country, but yeah, you're right. But then it's like, well, just go through the air and some sort of modified giant drone, but that could lead into a lot of accidents and giant freight falling from the sky, like. Two drones crashing into each other, and a bunch of Bed Bath & Beyond stuff just rains on your city.
Look at all those My Pillows are scattered all over the ground. Let's try this guy, and then we'll take a little break.
Hey Sam, Tom, Dan, and Butler. It's Christina from Oklahoma again. I wanted to give you an update. I did look them up, and I do not believe we have bufo frogs. Not in Oklahoma, probably not in my yard. They're pretty sweet. I can pick them up. They pee-pee on you. They're fine. I did notice, though, because I was really paying attention after Tom said that about the poisonous toads. I paid a lot of attention today about what one of my littler dogs was doing. She's a little Basenji. She's so cute. But she's running around, and she likes to eat the clumps of grass that after the lawn gets cut, there's like these little grass, they like cakes to her, I guess. I don't know. But she like runs around eating them, and then it's a game. Like if I try to get it from her, she freaks out. But she's totally healthy, and like I pick up their poop all the time, and it doesn't look like anything weird. But it's so weird. Like dogs will eat the weirdest. Like she was a foster dog. We adopted her, but we fostered her, so she did puke up 2 complete containers of peanut butter, like peanut butter that you would get from like Starbucks or somewhere. It's like in like a ketchup packet. She had 2 of them in her stomach, and she vomited them up after she was here for like a week. So I think she's just like was so hungry. But she's super healthy. But I was wondering if you guys had any insight on that. Like, does Dude eat anything like super weird? And you're like, oh, don't. But then you're like, oh, it's probably fine. Anyway, love you guys.
I mean, my Dalmatian Isley used to eat a lot of grass.
My dog will eat grass if it has an upset stomach and then puke it up.
Yeah,
but,
it's usually just because you have an upset stomach or you have a... honestly, with Isley, he had... This is funny because he's my dog. He actually had like a weird separation anxiety deal. That when we would leave, he would suck his tail. And remember how it would turn like brown because he would just like he'd like kind of corner
at it.
He'd like kind of corner it with his paws, so his butt's like coming around, and he like hold his tail and just kind of like it was like a sucking your thumb or something. And one of the veterinarians there like actually studied him, like wrote a paper. One of the younger girls was still in trying to get like a doctorate of veterinarian medicine, and was writing a paper on him. He used to eat grass, but he would do it like nervously too, kind of like the gentleman that was talking about his IBS. Isley was a pretty high-strung, nervous guy, so he had a nervous tick. He would just eat grass.
And then they usually do that to throw up, right? It's like they do it as
I'm pretty sure.
Wonder why it makes them throw up. Is there some sort of chemical, or is there enough? If you have enough grass, like it upsets your stomach to make you vomit. There's got to be a reason, right? Like some.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's some evolutionary instinct that all dogs have. Where they'll eat grass to make themselves puke. It's not like they learned it from you,
Yeah, it's like an instinctual thing, but a lot of dogs do it, apparently.
And, there's no bufo toads up north because the winter kills them all.
Yeah.
There's got to be that's why there's more up here. Remember we talked to that toad buster lady? Or Frog Buster or whatever.
Toad Buster lady.
Yeah, we had her on the show, and she works for a company, I think it's called Toad Buster, and then she just goes around Florida killing bufo toads and getting rid of them.
Oh, I remember that lady.
Yeah. And so she was telling us that they've moved north because it's getting warmer, and now the freeze. We don't have big long freezes that kills them here, which we're used to, and that kept the population down here, like north of West Palm or whatever. But now they're just moving north. Same thing with the lizards are doing the same thing. The iguanas.
That's what happens, I guess.
Yeah, and like the freeze usually kills any invasive species, but as it gets warmer, it won't, and they'll just the toads are coming for
move
you.
on. Yeah, here come the toads. We'll take a little break. We'll come back and finish out today's A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.